and welcome to the second episode of High Rollers Dead Reckoning. This is a brand new spin-off series that we're doing here in partnership with Wizards of the Coast. And welcome, friends. I am your Dungeon Master, Mark Humes. This week we have Chris Tadimus, Kate Morrison, hello, Tom Hazel with
hello.
2 L's.
2 L's, hello.
And Kim Richards. Welcome to this little stream. As before, if you've not watched any Dead Reckoning before, this is a little mini-series we're doing, which is sort of a kind of my version of a prologue to the Tomb of Annihilation module, which you can pick up in stores now, whilst all the other good D&D streamers are doing cool streams all about the Tomb of Annihilation and Serac and all that kind of good stuff. This is kind of my take on what might have happened just before that. If you've not watched it before, you can check out our previous mini-series called Uncharted Territory, which is a bit of a whistle-stop tour through the Tomb of Annihilation itself, with lots of character death and madness.
Really good content.
Top quality content.
Tom wasn't in it.
Which you can check out.
This is going well, though.
It's going well. This is one episode we've done.
It is
well, this is going out, so if you want to watch the vodcast of this, they will be out on the Wizards YouTube channel as well as their Twitch channel. Please do let people know about that, because we get a lot of questions about people saying like, oh, where can I watch the VODs? Where can I watch the VODs?
Wizards. Follow them at Wizards D&D on Twitter, and follow us at High Rollers D&D on Twitter, and you'll find out all of our various things.
And they are Dungeons and Dragons on YouTube. A couple of other quick things. Don't forget you can watch our regular Dungeons and Dragons stream, High Rollers. It's a custom homebrew campaign. We do it every Sunday at 5 PM BST and 9 AM PDT, which is Pacific Daylight Time, over on twitch.tv/Yogscast. What's that channel again? It's twitch.tv/Yogscast.
Don't even need me anymore.
I don't even need you. Get out. Which is our regular campaign. You can go and check that out. We've done nearly 2 years worth of episodes.
Oh my gosh,
And if you'd like to watch any of the back episodes of that, then you can search for Yogs Live, which is on YouTube, and you can watch all of our previous episodes there.
A nice playlist.
That is the little bit of an intro I've just done. Go on.
Quick addition. This is pre-recorded. However, hello future us in chat. There might be some of us just hanging out, chatting, so feel free to...
Maybe giving a few things away occasionally, we don't know. Maybe
Not storylines, as in like prizes.
As in like prizes.
Yeah.
Future Kim, you need to buy some milk, okay?
Thank you.
Always run out.
And for God's sake, put a wash on.
But yeah, if you have any questions about this episode, just ask in chat. Someone will be there to answer it.
To answer it.
Why did you do that, Trot? You idiot. I'll be there
That'll be me.
to answer. Yeah, we'll just be chatting amongst ourselves.
Yeah. So you can check that out. We'll be in chat on those. And that is pretty much it that I need to say. Last plug, just go out and get Tomb of Annihilation. It's really good. It's really
cool.
really good.
I love it.
The artwork alone.
I love it.
Really
And
solid.
the writing, obviously, it took a lot of effort and time.
Chris Perkins, yes, please.
Good job, Chris
Thank you,
Perkins.
Chris Perkins. Thank you.
If you've not watched Dead Reckoning before, don't worry, I'm going to give you a brief catch up here. First things first, Dead Reckoning is what I'm calling an anti-hero adventure. So our players are not your typical heroes. They're not quite villains, although they probably are bordering on that sort of side of the alignment spectrum.
Chaotic.
They are certainly not good people. And the whole campaign is taking place in the kingdom of Thay in the Forgotten Realms. Thay has been a big part of the Forgotten Realms for a long time, full of the Red Wizards, and this is the characters going there to explore it and dealing with the kind of unsavory culture that it is. In terms of the campaign, the party have been given a job by a Harper agent called Halloway to head to the Thay and investigate the Red Wizards and see if they are somehow connected, responsible for, or have information on a strange death curse that might be infecting certain parts of Toril, including the 4 characters you see before you who have died and previously been brought to life and may begin to come under the effects of the death curse. Why don't you each go around and give a quick 1 sentence, who are you playing and what are they about?
I am Taran Newguard. I am a paladin, Oath of Conquest. I am a huge man in a huge suit of armour.
And you were once a servant of Tempest. You served in like an elite force of
Serve Tempest, glory in battle, and ultimate defeat of my enemies.
There you go. So that is Chris Trott's character, Katie.
I am playing Malice. She is a half-drow who has sort of... she was a slave in the Underdark to a house that she used to serve, and she since murdered their leader and has now fled to the surface world. And she is a Way of the Long Death monk.
Tom Hazel, new boy.
What? It's me. Tolshan Corborn.
I like how you had to look.
Name.
Yeah, you had to check.
Tolshan Corborn, mastermind, rogue, leader of the criminal underground, and general.
You're a bit of the face, aren't you? You're kind of
Bastard.
like, you're like breaking kneecaps, but also intimidating and lying to people and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, flicking coins to people, getting them to do my bidding.
Exactly. And Kim Richards, tell us, who are you playing?
I am worthless.
Yes, you are. No.
And your character.
And your character is
Every episode. It's gonna be that.
Yeah, every episode.
Say Joe.
I am a fallen Arthema blood hunter. I used to be a good Arthema, follower of Lathander.
Praise Lathander.
But I had a god crisis and am now fallen. And I've gone completely mad because they took my baby from me.
Yep, took your baby.
Took my
They
baby.
took my baby.
Took my baby and executed me.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find my baby.
And since then, but you have also fallen in with a cult of Velsharoon, I believe is the name, who is kind of the reason that you fell from grace. And
Not kind of fallen in with them, but just like started to
you started
believe.
becoming interested in.
Yeah,
and
like that
yes.
death shouldn't be feared and it should be a part of life.
And that is the characters. And they boarded a airship, a Halaruan airship, being piloted by a dwarf of Oh, there goes my microphone. It's not very good.
So pro!
This one just will not stay on. It's really annoying.
It's very loosey.
It's a bit loosey-goosey. I'll have to avoid moving. The party boarded a Halaruan airship, which has taken them across Toril, and has... they had to do some sort of a drop, kind of parachute drop into the ocean to avoid the airship having to fly over Thayan space, where there is not welcome. And that is pretty much where we left things off. You narrowly avoided an encounter with a bronze dragon, who you felt that might not have responded particularly well to certain members of the party. And you have made your way. You currently are soaring through the sky, plummeting at a frantic speed towards the ocean. You can see the horizon of the kind of the lands of Thay stretched out before you, and you can see from this angle, as you're kind of making your way down, parachute free falling, that Thay is split into. It's a large, flat kingdom with kind of almost like tiered structures. So it has these escarpments, which are very steep, kind of almost like raised. Not quite mountain sides, but they basically form like a high, steep ridge, and then it turns into a flat plain. And there's actually almost like a three-layered tiered cake of evil. Concluding with, in the very center, an enormous, large mountain, a volcano, an active volcano you know to be called Thaymount. Which is the kingdom gets its name from, which is right in the center. And these kind of escarpments build up, and the kingdoms go higher and higher. Your destination is the port city of Byzanto, which sits on the lowest escarpment, right next to the sea, and you are plummeting towards the ocean just past the Shark's Bane Wall. You each have a token, which is said to contain the Featherfall spell, ready to activate as you get nearer the ground. And you are free-falling.
Yeah, I'm in the skydiving position, just kind of like really gripping onto this feather,
Yeah.
kind of pointing it upwards,
Okay.
and hoping that it triggers something.
Mm-hmm.
But not
Nothing
really.
seems to happen immediately.
As a note, as I have slow fall as a monk.
You can reduce falling damage
can
by a certain
reduce
amount.
it, but I'm
You
just
suspect
saying
that you
in
have
case.
probably fallen perhaps, maybe half a
far.
mile or something like that
No,
from the
but
sky.
it's still not that bad.
Is any of you curious? Are you trying to activate the token in any way? Or?
Well, as I'm falling, I'm sort of laughing, but more out of fear and just sort of like, how am I gonna die? Sort of
Kind of
floating around
terrified
people,
laughter.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's enough time that you can kind of like, if you hold out your arms, you can kind of get a lay of the land and kind of see what's going on. But you are generally plummeting very quickly.
Yeah, I'm trying to aim my body towards not woodland, an open area with.
Well, you are currently
We're
above the sea.
the sea. We need to land in
That's
water.
like concrete.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are
Big-
currently
big
there is-
heavy armor
There's
above
almost
water.
like there's this inland sea called the Sea of Fallen Stars because it's shaped like almost like a comet or meteorite hit it that spreads out in the Forgotten Realms, and you are basically above like a very wide, like imagine like the channel, but triple the size. That flows through and is basically borders alongside the edge of Thay. You are currently above that. It's maybe like 20 miles, 30 miles across kind of thing, and you're right in the middle of it.
I'm starting to shout now at the feather.
Mm-hmm.
Flight. Slow fall.
Just yelling words, basically. Okay.
What check would you make to check if you know what to check?
Arcana, if it's to activate some sort of magic item.
15.
15. Analysing it, you kind of work out that these tokens don't necessarily require a command word. It's likely they will activate by themselves at a certain point.
Okay.
That's what you know. The three of you are like, he's like, fly, slow fall, activate,
Soar, float.
and you are basically, it's the words being lost as you're kind of trying to shout as this token as you're falling. You're plummeting very, very quickly. You're maybe perhaps like 300 feet above the water. You can see it kind of rising up before you. 200 feet, 100 feet,
I'm
nothing's
laughing.
happening.
I'm, you know,
You just hear cackling
gleefully,
from this
not
crazy
cackling,
old-
like
okay.
kind of like a joyous laughing, and then every now and again you can hear splishy splashy.
I'm
You
looking
just barely hear it.
I want to glide closer to Torin and just sort of get Taran, sorry, and just if his activates and mine doesn't, I want to be ready to like grasp on.
Okay.
I'm just like closing my eyes and
Just
like
hoping.
thinking, fly, fly, fly.
You're just trying to mentally
Yeah.
activate it, okay. You're trying desperately, nothing's working, you can feel the wind rushing around you, and then, about 80 feet above the water, you suddenly kind of feel your body retch as this token, it just kind of crumbles in your hands, but your body feels completely, you know, as if you weigh 100 times less, and you begin to just float gently down towards the surface of the water.
trying to move my body so that I get to the beach.
You're like trying to swim. The shore is about a mile away. You've literally plummeted like as far close to the coast as you could,
bad.
but you're still about a mile away, and you're trying to swim, but there's no way you can't really. You're like, there's no
I'm
way
gonna
to
get
give yourself
grief out
force.
and use it as like an air.
You're like, you wanna, like push the air.
Well, be careful. I'm pretty sure I'm clasped onto your back.
I don't care.
Yeah, like the two of you are kind of moving as one. Eventually, you kind of just boop into the water, and you feel this kind of rushing around. You, being in full plate, are going to need to give me an athletics check
Oh my god,
to make sure
swim
that you can
against
stay swim.
heavy plate.
But you are quite strong, I
I
believe.
am quite
yes?
strong.
Okay,
Can
good.
I activate the boat?
Yes. So this, you kind of twist it a few times. It looks like it can be twisted, so you just start twisting it, and you slowly realise that as you twist, it gets larger and larger, and then eventually it just kind of vroom into a 10 foot by 10 foot rowboat.
With a
Yeah.
23.
You are
Clambering.
more than fine to just, tread water. It's hard work, and if you had to do it for a long time, you'd get very, very tired. But you're kind of
Get off me!
your strength, your legs frantically kicking to, keep the heavy weight from sinking.
Yeah.
You watch as this boat, Malice kind of folds it out, climbs aboard. There are 2 paddles in the very center section. There is also a hidden kind of like, not hidden, but like a compartment that you could store something that looks like quite dry in the middle of the boat as well, for anything that you would not want to get wet. And it folds out, and it's about 10 feet by 10 feet, so it can easily fit 4 of you, perhaps 5, if need
I
be.
will
Splish,
really
splash over.
splash over.
I gracefully drop into it.
Okay, so you just kind of, and then just pull yourself up into the side. At this point, Tolshank is still kind of gripped onto you.
I think I'll get kicked off at some point.
Like
so I just
just-
sort of,
I don't even notice. I'm just
like-
doing the doggy paddle.
yeah, water's just splashing into my face. Like he's just in the way, but I'm gonna just swim towards the boat.
Yeah, you guys clamber into this rowboat. It's quite wide. It does feel like it's quite buoyant. It's well made. It doesn't seem to leak, even though it seemed to be made of these slots. Yeah, it just seems perfectly fine. There are 2 sets of oars, and you are about a mile from shore.
Take my helmet off and just leak it out.
Yeah, just pour the water out.
And so I'm
What
actually
do
going
I-
to start taking the armor off,
Okay.
piece by piece, so that I can dry it out.
What are you like underneath the helmet?
The helmet.
Super skinny.
So I've got a very chiseled jaw,
Okay.
tanned skin, a scar across like the face. It's like a cross
It's
almost.
like he's been like struck once going vertically or down, and then another time coming across.
Piercing blue eyes,
Short
cropped
cropped blonde hair.
blonde hair. I've seen some shit.
Yeah. Okay.
But not unattractive. He's kind of got like a rugged.
A rugged, handsome look.
Yeah. Perhaps
Okay.
it could have been quite a noble, like inspiring, heroic figure at one point, but has since fallen very far.
And doesn't
from that
really
kind of
keep
head.
himself kempt.
Alcoholic.
Yeah.
You're not
A
hideous.
recovering alcoholic.
No. He's got the scar, but it kind of suits him in a weird way.
Yeah.
And you start taking all the armor off. It takes you about 5 minutes in this boat, like unstrappling,
No one-
unbuckling
No one knows
yourself.
how to do it. Just doing it myself.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, you've had to do this a few times.
Yeah.
You take it off, empty it out, like the water begins pouring out your metal plate boots and things like that.
I've got like a rag that I assume I have.
Yeah, you have a rag
I'm just start patting down the armor
on the inside.
so that it doesn't start rusting.
Okay,
And
good.
I've got a
Yeah,
little
you know how exactly how to take care
oil
of
flask. I'm gonna coat it,
oil
in
it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Doing all that.
Taking my leather boots off and just pouring it out into the ocean.
It's an unconventional way.
Yeah, you're a little bit drippy and wet and things like that. Worthless, you've managed to sort of float her way down, has sort of like managed to avoid most of it. Your legs are probably a little bit wet as you kind of gripped onto the side rather than landed inside the boat. But otherwise, you are a little bit wet, a little bit cold, but just see above, just very faintly, just the trail of the airship heading off to the south.
Any sign of the dragon?
No, not at this distance.
Good.
I'm going to say at this point to the party, now that we're in this together, it's important that we're all on the same page. Worthless.
I'm just at this point. I'm kind of like leaning over the side of the boat and just trailing my hand in the water, singing nursery rhymes to myself.
Are you with us?
Gently down the stream.
Is she with anyone?
She will be.
Is she even here?
I don't really know.
And one of you,
What?
Drow. What is your
What?
purpose?
What do you mean?
Do I
what
have
is
to
my
care about my
purpose?
back as well as my front?
Common misconception. Not all drow are like that. Thank you.
Well, it's good to be
Besides, I'm
cautious.
only half drow.
You're half Drow.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't want to think about the mechanics of how that happened.
What's the other half?
Changing topics.
Just
Deep
interested.
gnome.
Pure deep gnome.
Yes, that's nice.
Okay.
Good for you. I've come across your kind before.
I think I've come across yours too. Or at least half of them anyway. Half your kind.
Anyway,
Awkward silence hangs in the air. There is no sound at this point out in the ocean. You basically hear the lapping of waves up against the rowboat. You can't really see much else. The shore, there isn't like any settlements really. You can see the city of Byzantia, small in the distance, about a day and a half's travel if you were on the land, kind of traveling alongside. It's built onto the edge of the escarpment. You can actually see the city appears to almost have two sets of walls from this kind of position. You can see docks alongside it, but also there seems to be a part of the city which is actually kind of the land underneath it maybe collapsed and part of the city sank into the ocean, but it's been walled off from the rest of the city kind of thing.
Okay.
And yeah, you can just see it out on the fields, what they call, about on these like large open top fields. You can see, when you were falling, you could see farms, like big wheat farms and grain farms, orchards, that sort of thing, all built onto very fertile, good-looking soil, with lots of workers, a lot of workers just milling around, working, large buildings, that sort of thing, all scattered around. But no real, not like a farm that you might see out on the Sword Coast where you have like one farm house and then, acres of land or whatever. These have like fences around them and are very structured and built in certain ways.
I assume we've all dealt with the Thay before.
the Red Wizards. Yes, come across them in the past.
Then you know not to trust them.
Well, of course.
They deal in the undead and the necromancy, blasphemy things.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of undead.
It is when they aren't even worthy of fighting their own battles and send their undead minions to do it for them. There's no honor in that.
Death is just another part of life.
Yes, but who are we to control it? Not humans, at least. Maybe whatever you are. What is she?
Another human.
Yeah, for all intents
questioning
and
people's
purposes, she looks human.
races.
I was going to ask, actually. I can understand... I need to remember...
Taran.
I can understand Taran being here, being the big, muscle-bound, damage-dealing, killing machine that he is. And obviously I've got the tactics, the wily nature. I can understand us being on the team, but I can't quite see what an insane old woman's doing here.
You should respect your elders, Sonny.
Oh, I do, but not when it's up against, me dying again. I
Or
don't
when
really
it
wanna do
sprouts skeletal wings and starts chanting nursery rhymes.
Well, surely that's terrifying enough that you know she's a good foe to have a good ally to have on your side in battle.
Did your mother never sing to you?
No, she's dead. But thanks for asking.
And again, other than respectful old people, what do you bring to the table?
You'll see.
Don't like taking chances, you see.
It's not a chance, though. Believe me, I can take care of myself.
If you say so.
Just
Well,
the waves like coming.
All I want to know is, are we together in this, or do we have to defend ourselves from each other?
Being that I've gone back to just trailing my fingers in the water, do I notice anything?
It is deep and dark. The water itself. It's not a very clear sea.
Can I see for any like traces, like there's anything floating around or swimming around?
You can make a perception check.
18.
18. You probably see maybe some schools of fish deep down underneath the surface. It's kind of hard to see, although it is about midday. The sun, is kind of high and the water's quite reflective, so you're trying to peer around. But yeah, there's some schools of fish and things like that. Seeing anything much more at this point where you're looking down is kind of hard, but yeah, you don't see anything.
Can I use my divine sense on Worthless? Or just around me?
Yeah, you would do it around you. So you activate divine
60
sense.
feet.
60 feet. Do you register as a celestial, or are you?
That's a good question.
I think it has some celestial
Have
in
I
it,
got a Volo's
doesn't it?
guide over
My
here?
character sheet, my
Do you want to
my
use D&D
class sheet is
Beyond?
outside. I mean, I can
I'm going to
speak
use Volo's
celestial.
guide actually. Sure. You can speak celestial, but it depends on if you are a celestial, which is an interesting question.
Yeah,
Chris Trott.
I forgot that bit. Sozzle pops.
Sorts of pops.
I can sense it.
Partially, I think.
What
Like
does
I'm,
divine sense do?
I can sense celestial fiends, undead, consecrated, and desecrated within 60 feet. I know where they are.
I'm probably a bit undead.
So the Fae's going to be rife with that shit.
Traps are everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I sense the type
Everything's
and location of it, so long as it's not behind total cover.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that it doesn't specifically say that they are celestial, but I would say that there is enough celestial energy within them that you would definitely register that they are not. She is not a human. There is some angelic or planar celestial being that is part of her. Like there is definitely a trace of that sort of being.
She is not of this world. She may have lived here, however, her heritage suggests otherwise.
Very obsessed with people's heritage, aren't you?
I'm just saying, I sense it.
Just
Tempest has given me this power.
You don't sense any other Fee-Fanes
Nothing else
or
around.
undead within 60 feet.
There is nothing else of undead variety around us.
Tempest told you. Why didn't you just ask me?
Because I can sense it through you, and I don't know if you're lying or not.
You should trust an old woman,
Really?
especially a mother.
The same old woman that was feeding frost into my room and cackling.
A little prank to keep me entertained and
I'm
to
glad
keep
it
you on your
entertained
toes.
you. I wasn't on my toes, I was on my back trying to sleep.
Listen, we do not have to fear each other. We're all here because we're eventually going to die by the sounds of it. So unless we work together, it sounds like these people are going to make it a problem for us. We each have pasts that we wish to either run away from or to find other people. If we don't do this, then we all lose.
I agree. Listen, I can trust you guys as far as I can throw you. Speaking of throwing you far, not the strongest guy here in this rowboat.
At the moment, it's not moving.
Yay.
It's just kind of bobbing on the ocean.
I think this might be
You're a
a
very
job for
strong soldier.
some other
Why
people.
don't you row us towards the beach?
It's always about the strength, it's about the technique.
So
Or,
I will point out that there is the boat is wide enough that two people can sit side by side to row, or one person can just sit in the middle and work both oars.
I'll work both.
Okay, so the rowboat with one person rowing goes at 30 feet per round, so every 6 seconds. So it goes 300 feet a minute. You are about 5,000 feet from shore, so it is going to take some time. Not too long, like under an hour to row to
How
shore.
robust is this boat?
It's sturdy. It's like
it
really well
bobbing
built.
around?
It's bobbing because it's a rowboat, but it's not like there's no leak. Water's not coming over the side. It's quite high sides.
Do I have to stay in the middle if I go to the left or right? I suppose I've taken my armor off.
If you've taken your armor off and put it in the middle,
Yeah.
you're definitely keeping the boat much more level, but it's sizable enough that you can sit on one side. You could have 3 people on one side and 1 on the other, and it will definitely tilt,
Right.
but it won't capsize.
It won't capsize, right.
No, you'd need significant... Somebody would need to either pull it or nudge it or something like that to...
The strongest of you.
What if 2 people row at once?
It goes at 50 feet.
Whoever's the strongest out of you, help me.
I'm just a deep gnome.
I'm just going to start rowing 1 and going in circles
Going in circles.
until they help.
I'm not very strong, but I'll help.
Okay. It doesn't. Strength isn't necessarily required. It's just the two of you
Just
working in tandem. The main thing is going to be tiredness. There's like if unless people want to swap out, if you try and row for an hour, it's quite hard
Yeah, it's
work.
pretty tough.
I'm going to put my feet up.
Okay. So you put your feet up.
When you put your feet up, I'm going to tell him that he has to try this at some point. He has to take his turn.
You just go as far as you
Because
can.
him relaxing is
irritating
annoying
you.
the fuck out of me.
Well,
So,
I could
if he
easily...
doesn't irritate you for very long, after perhaps
He dies.
2-3 minutes of rowing, you start to feel your limbs growing heavy and tired from the rowing. There's something in the water, and I'd like everyone to make perception checks, please.
15.
Would you consider that cocked?
I consider that.
I would consider that pretty flat, because you've got roll it in the big tray, because then it won't hit the sides.
20.
There you go. 20 perception,
16.
16,
15.
15,
14.
14. All of you are perceptive enough to see that coming very quickly towards your boat from deep underwater are 5 shapes. 2 of the shapes look like sharks, large, maybe the size of a man, reef sharks, kind of typical looking shark, like not hammerheads or anything like that, swimming their way. Riding, sort of, kind of holding on to like a harness around the shark, are 2 humanoid figures with kind of fins sprouting from their necks, webbed hands, clothing that might be made from shell or something like that, each clutching spears. And then swimming behind them directly is another one of these kind of humanoid creatures with like fins. But she has like a long kind of almost mohawk and a kind of long tail coming out from behind her in beautiful kind of fish scale coloured. And she seems to be wearing like a necklace of different symbols and things like that.
Okay.
And they are heading straight for your boat. And I'd like everyone to roll initiative.
It's the first initiative roll.
First one.
Here it goes.
I'm going to need the old monster manual. So, let's get these Sohogan on the go.
My initiative's at -1. Sweet.
Slight problem, friends.
Yeah, someone's wearing a cloak that sea people don't like.
Yeah.
In it, geese.
Fucking beacon of fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pointing at the sea.
Oh, boy.
Hey, we don't know that. If we did, we could just push him overboard.
Do I actually know that?
You do know, you have researched your heist item. Okay, so what is your initiatives, please, Taryn?
8.
Tolshank,
9.
Worthless,
5.
Oh, wow.
Malice.
12.
That's the best one.
Okay, none of you. You're kind of turning as you kind of look over the side and see these creatures running, swimming towards you quite frantically. One of the reef sharks kind of darts ahead, swims under, and you feel it kind of hit the side of your rowboat, kind of ramming into it with speed. That's a natural 20. And you feel the whole boat shudder. I need everybody to make acrobatics checks to stay in. You are not wearing your armor,
No.
so you don't have disadvantage on this.
Wayo.
But your AC is currently not high.
Not high at all. It's unarmored.
It is unarmored.
13.
So 10 plus dex.
9.
So
13.
13 on acrobatics.
28.
What?
He's like, way!
17.
17.
6.
So Taryn, boosh into the water, like gets completely knocked out of the boat. You feel yourself
Do I
fall
take
back.
the oar with me?
Huh?
Do I take the
You
oar?
take the oar, but Grief is still in the boat. But you have one of the
got the
oars. Yeah. You splash into the water as this shark kind of rams up and knocks the boat, sending the others flying. After that shark, Malice, you are the first one to react.
This shark is just on his own. He's not got any of the.
The others are basically about to come and swim in. They're about 40 feet away.
Both want to hit us, yeah.
Can I try to, as my action, use? So what? How many of them are within 30 feet? Are they all within 30 feet?
Only the one shark. The others are all 40 feet away. So the one shark has swum under the boat and kind of headbutted it, like rammed it to knock you off balance. The others are all about 40 feet away, swimming in towards you.
Can I reach the shark?
It would be difficult. It's under the boat, but you can try.
Water?
I'll give it some cover benefits.
Can I wait until the others are within 30 feet of me in that case? Hold my action, and I'd like to use Hour of Reaping to unsettle and terrify all of the incoming.
Hour of Reaping.
Yes.
So you ready yourself. You begin focusing on the key techniques that the monks taught you back at the monastery to harness the very power of death to frighten your foes. So you're holding your action until the others swim in, okay?
Yeah.
And in fact, it is going to be so the two creatures and the remaining shark swim in, but you can see the female one is just holding back a little bit. She's still about 40 feet away. The two creatures and the other shark swimming. The other shark swims and is going to try and attack you now that you're in the water, whereas the two mer creatures, these kind of fish men with these kind of blue scales and sharp pointed teeth like shark's jaws, kind of reach up. They kind of bring their surfaces to their head. One of them is going to throw a spear at Tolshank, and one of them is going to throw a spear at Malice. So I'll do the spears first. In fact, no, I'll do the shark first because I've got to switch to another page.
DC 9.
Yeah, it is a 9 to
Or
hit you
AC,
currently.
AC 9.
Oh. Shit.
So I've got nothing.
Luckily, it has pack tactics because it has an ally. So it bites into you, Taryn, for 4 points of damage as it kind of nips past.
Okay.
One thing you should note while you are underwater, you have disadvantage on attack rolls, and you move at half speed while you are fighting in water.
Very well.
Whoop. And then the two spears come flying out. These creatures surface like Zora and Zelda, and then they hurl these kind of coral spine-like spears towards you both.
So these are just to the surface of the water, like not even close to the boat.
They've swum up
They
about
swum up.
20 feet away.
Oh, okay. I thought they were like plugging.
They have to
themselves
make
up
a
like that.
wisdom save.
Yes, so that will trigger as soon as they've thrown their spears. So 17 to hit you,
Oh, okay, that's a hit.
and then 14?
Nope.
Nope. So you dodge out of the way as you begin drawing in this dark energy to frighten them. But Torshank, you take 5 points of damage as this spear kind of cuts through the air, whistles past, and then it's a wisdom saving throw, yes? And it affects any living creature within 30 feet?
It affects where I direct it
Okay.
within 30 feet.
So you target the two sharks and the two mer-men creatures.
Frightened of me until the end of my next turn. Until the end of my next turn.
Okay,
And it's a DC of 14.
14, okay. Fuck. Okay, so you kind of focus this energy, and I'm guessing like what you bring on, like you kind of dark magic or ki begins to flow out of you and kind of seeps out into the world. One of the creatures kind of turns and it kind of like just snarls and it doesn't seem to be affected, but the other one and the two sharks quickly begin swimming and frantically trying to back away from the boat, and they seem to be moving away, or at least preparing to move away on the next turn, away from you. Frightened, I believe. So they're frightened of you, correct? Okay.
Till the end of my next turn.
To the end of your next turn. So they can't willingly move closer towards you, and it has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its spirit is within line of sight. So only one of these creatures remains. Torshank.
I would like to throw out some rope to Taryn. Just so it gives him something to pull himself into. But instead of actually putting it in myself, I actually have a hammer and some pitons.
So you're gonna like.
Can I into the side of the ship, not the bottom?
That's what I just say.
I was
like,
literally about to ask, where are you hammering
in the
this?
side,
Okay.
and just hammer the rope in and so it's like a sturdy rope that's constantly out of the boat so that he can pull himself in.
Okay, I'd say that's probably like move and bonus action to do that. Actually, no action to hammer in a piton.
And in terms of bonus action, that's it.
Yeah, there's no way you can really hide and stuff like
Stay
that.
like that. I can.
It's very honourable.
I think I can use a help action, but
Yeah.
I think a way that I could do that.
No, if you can't think of a way, it's up to you. If you can think of a cool way that you could help somebody.
I think throwing the rope out, that's my help action.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Taryn, it's your go.
Okay, I'm going to grab onto this rope and try and pull myself
Into the boat.
There's a shark there, though, right?
There is a shark, so you'll get an attack opportunity, but it is disadvantaged because it seems very afraid of Malice.
Can I disengage as my action?
Yes.
Pull myself.
And then pull yourself in?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It's an athletics check, but you currently have advantage because of the help action from Tolshank.
18 plus...
With your strength in athletics,
plus 6.
you basically just haul yourself out. You swim for a brief moment where you where you fell out, get away from the shark, and then pull yourself back in.
Thank you, no.
That is your action and move.
I just roll into the boat and then using that slight lip as cover.
Okay, so you're going to try and
And
stay
I'm
up.
looking around for grief.
Okay, grief is next to your armor, right in the middle of the boat. I'd say as a bonus action, you can easily grab that.
I'm going to just put one hand on my and start readying myself.
Okay, you begin to feel that kind of the whale build up in you, like you can kind of feel it ready for
Yeah.
ready for combat.
Inside.
Worthless.
So did you say that I fell into the sea, or did
No,
I
you
stay,
didn't.
stayed on the boat?
He was the only one that did. Taryn was the only one that
Yeah.
did. You are currently still in the boat.
And the only thing that wasn't scared is a...
One of the mer creatures and the woman who was out of seemed to be lingering on the edges.
I don't know what to do. Like, I don't think she would actively attack. 'Cause...
Then you don't attack.
Yeah.
You can hold your turn unless you get attacked.
Or you can just spend it like laughing.
Yeah.
A crazed woman.
I think she would, you know, especially seeing that Malice is fine doing stuff.
Okay.
I think she would just kind of, yeah, she's just going to sit on the boat and just, you know, watch.
Watch what happens.
Yeah, and if anything, hold action, so if anything does come to attack me, I will invoke Blood Curse of Eyeless, of the Eyeless.
Okay.
Damn.
Curse of the eyeless. The woman kind of looking fish creature who's skirting around the outside, she kind of like swims to the surface and you can hear her basically just kind of muttering like in this kind of bizarre bubbling language. Kind of just hissing away. But you can see that her eyes, like she looks between Malice, she kind of like eyes you with like a, almost like a competitive, like she sees you as a threat, like that you've used some sort of dark power to make her minions or whatever scared. But then she sees Torshank and you just watch her little kind of fish eyes narrow. She begins like chanting away at, and she raises her hands.
Sorry, I can't.
Can you not deal with my spellcasting?
It's just the voice, I love it.
Do I see her glaring at him specifically?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Doesn't want a deep no.
Doesn't like him.
Who does?
We.
Hey,
She is going to.
thinking of
Took
my
him a
next
while.
turn and then I heard it.
So, as a bonus action, she kind of raises her hand and a kind of almost like out of the water itself, a trident, this kind of shimmering trident of energy shoots out and it floats over towards Torshank and it's going to attack Torshank.
Okay.
Crappity doo dah.
Tolshank.
That's a 20 to hit you, Torshank.
It's Tolshank, right?
Yeah, yes.
5 points of force damage as this kind of watery trident splashes into you, almost piercing through your leathers as it tries to hit you. And then she like looks around and she focuses for a moment, and the shark that you'd scared away, the two sharks, one of them turns around and swims back and looks like it's going to try and ram the boat once more as it begins to swim back. Some sort of maybe perhaps mind control helping it overcome.
Mind blitz.
Mind Blitz. And in fact, that is the one that is going to try and ram the boat again. This time, however, it just kind of thuds into the side, like, you know, between all of you kind of like being on there, you're kind of prepared for it this time, and it doesn't shake you from anywhere where you kind of go. Now it is Malice.
Can I
No.
spend my turn? How close is shore? Is it still? Are we still quite far from shore? Or?
You were rowing for about 3 minutes, which means you've got about 900 feet, and which means there's 4,120
Right.
and
So never
80
mind.
feet to go.
Okay.
There is still considerable time. You can start rowing if you want to.
No.
You don't want to row? Okay. Just keep rowing. It'll take you. There's one of you rowing. It'll take you 300 feet a minute. So that's about 10 minutes or so.
How many turns is that?
That's a lot.
So
That's
100 turns.
60,
Anyway.
100 turns. Yeah.
Oh, it's 6 seconds a turn.
6 seconds a turn. So yeah,
A long time.
600
So is the
minutes,
shark
yeah.
really
10
close to
rounds.
the boat then?
Yeah, 100.
Could I reach over and
Oh yeah.
hit it?
You can try. Yeah, it will have like a little bit of cover from the water and
I'm
things
gonna
like
try
that. Sure.
and hit.
It's only a little shark.
It's only a little shark.
I
You roll a 19.
rolled a 19.
Yeah, well, considering I was going to give it a +2 bonus to its AC for cover, it has an AC of 12, so yes. You kind of reach down and you have to wait for the kind of perfect strike. The war fan flicks out and you cut through the water like a knife, like.
So 10 points damage.
That cuts through the shark's kind of fleshy skin, and you can see it cuts through into its musculature.
Next attack. Natural one.
This one, like, you're kind of trying to lean over the boat, you almost drop the fan, so you have to kind of quickly recover that.
And my unarmed action. Which is 15.
Okay, so you quickly pass the fan to the other side, and using your hand like a spear, you kind of plunge it through, and it does actually strike into like a nerve, like some point, point on the shark's neck.
7.
7 points. Yeah, the shark, like, you watch as like your hand pierces through. You actually pierce through its skin with these kind of like long, deathly fingers.
Imagine it's got quite long fingernails as
It doesn't quite kill it, but you can see that it's badly wounded. Blood just pours out of this creature's, out of its kind of side, and you can see the fish folk begin to get very agitated. They begin like chanting desperately each other.
Is she still above the
It's just
water?
above the water, yeah. But about 40 feet away.
We'll defend ourselves, but leave us alone. We mean no harm. What do you want with him? Why are you staring at him?
They point at all, they're just like, she kind of points at all of you. It's like,
Yeah.
I've got my eyes closed at the moment.
so you don't see any of that.
I'm doing a prayer.
I'm gonna duck down on the boat and try and keep myself steady, like in case the shark butts
Okay.
into it.
The
again, like,
Sahorgan,
were.
the two fish-looking folk, swim away. They swim back out to this woman that seems to be in charge, away from you, and they're kind of you can hear them like chattering, like, and they point at you in some language, and she barks orders at them, and then they feebly kind of pull out another one of these spears from like their belts, and they're like, and they throw one at you two, but they have disadvantage because they can still see you. That's a 12, so that is going to be a 15.
No.
You dodge out of the way, and then Torshank. That is a natural one as a miss. This one just kind of like goes to throw, and then you kind of move, and it just yelps. It's like, no! And it drops the spear in a panic kind of thing. But then as they seem to overcome their fear, and it just seems to ebb and fade away from them as that occurs. Torshank.
How often can you do the fear thing?
I can do it every round as an action. It's an action to do it.
Key point does it cost? Or?
No, it doesn't cost.
doesn't
It's
cost
just it's an action.
Oh, nice.
It's my way of the long death. Doesn't say anything about key points in the book anyway.
I want to pull up the rest of the rope,
Yeah, it's like just floating out into the ocean. at this
hammer
point.
and another pit on. I want to connect the rope to the shark.
Okay.
Okay.
So the shark is trying to bomb pin that she's been attacking, or
Yeah, the
other-
one that's
or-
currently quite wounded.
Okay, yeah,
I want to
yeah.
just wedge a pit on into it
Okay.
somehow and connect the rope, which
Okay.
is connected to the boat.
Yep, and try and use it as some sort of like
And if you
hauling
use fear,
To try and pull us to...
Then it will pull us to safety.
I love the plan. So you're going to make an attack roll. You're going to make an attack roll for me. You don't get your proficiency bonus because you're not proficient in pitons. So it's basically plus your strength.
Plus my strength. Oh, that's 5.
So you're kind of like, yeah, and you just miss, and you kind of have to hold yourself from falling into the water, basically, as you're trying to like wedge this thing, but the shark swims out the way. Good attempt. I like the thinking. After which, Taryn, what would you like to do?
I'm gripping my blade and I'm muttering a speech to Tempest. It's like, Tempest, I will do your honor. I will fight beast and monster for you. The glory of battle. I'm just going to get this thing out and just stab into the water.
Into the shark?
With grief, yeah.
Okay, great. Make the attack.
Because I have no idea what he's doing.
No, he's like, you saw him like with, it looked like a little kind
I
of
thought he was
chisel.
trying to use the pit to like hammer it to
attack it or
death.
something, yeah.
That's a natural 1.
Oh dear, that's not very good, is it?
However, it's a natural 1. Yeah, so it's all auto-fail, right?
It's not actually. That's one thing I constantly get wrong.
Right, so I've got Great Weapon Master, which I should have announced before, which is a minor fun.
Yeah, that's, you can take the -5 penalty to add damage.
Channel Divinity,
Can he dodge?
I can choose a guided strike.
You could use a guided strike.
However, I don't think it's going to be enough.
Plus you get your normal attack bonus as well.
Ah, yes, so I get +7, so that's an 8. Yeah, I'll use guided strike.
You're like, I don't want this to be my first showing of my first attack roll with this character.
So I get +10 to this
So you
roll.
feel the kind of, you feel Tempest like guiding you. This isn't your this isn't the kind of opponent you'd like to kind of like have his blessing
Plus
for.
it's all
It's kind of like the
refracted,
water's kind of
yeah.
like throwing you off. You plunge this blade down and you feel it just straight in. And as it bites into the creature, all of you, this scream echoes across a wide space. You just hear this.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh my god, is it going to do that every time?
Every time it tasted blood.
For the first time, but every time. This is damage 2d6.
Literally every
Plus your
time.
strength. Do you want to use a divine smite on it as well, or
I mean,
Don't
it
think
was
so.
already... Oh, help yourself.
do you want to? I was going to say you can have mine.
That's a 2. Can I re-roll that, please?
Well, you have the Great Weapon Fighting Style, which means you may re-roll any 1s or 2s on any damage dice.
Oh.
And you have to keep the second result.
4 plus a 4, so that's 8,
8 points.
However, no, yeah, that's it.
Okay, well, you'll be pleased to know that as the blade strikes down, you basically just cut this shark's head off. Like, the blade is so
probably rocked the
wide,
boat.
you just kind of... And the boat does kind of tip as the blade pierces through. The head just kind of like gets sheened off, and then the body and blood just begins to spill around the boat, driving the fish folk insane.
I'm going to pull the blade out and then point it out Wrath of the Lich King style at the next fish folk.
They're all about 40 feet out, but yeah.
Grief is not done with you.
You can see that although the blade kind of plunged into the creature, there's no entrails or blood left on the blade. It's completely pristine.
It's
Completely
like
clean.
coating it with that JML no stains.
Just no stain. Slides
Just
right off.
Slides right up.
The remaining shark will attempt to. Nope. It tries to bounce up into the boat again to try and knock you off and get you in the water, but it doesn't work. Boop it snoot. Worthless.
Everything's out of range, isn't it?
It's about 40 feet away, out in the ocean.
What range is on a spear?
Well, spear is a melee attack. You don't get range. It doesn't have reach. You can throw it if you wanted to.
I won't get it back.
Toss me.
Toss me.
Don't tell the other.
Cannot jump the distance.
You have to toss me.
Hold action. And she will invoke the right of Storm if anything attacks her.
If anything attacks her. Okay.
Yes, and when Dude Bro's sword started screaming, she's just going to lift her head and be like, ah, now this is a song I know.
Creepy. The water trident attempts to strike Tolshank once more. Hits. 10 points of force damage.
Can I-
That's this water spear.
Uncanny
Yes.
dodge.
You
Yes.
take 5 points of damage instead. You half
Nice.
it. That's your
Uncanny
reaction
dodge.
use though. Remember, it uses your
So how do
reaction.
reactions work?
You get one per
You get one
round.
reaction per turn, basically.
So you can't react again.
This water trying kind
This
of
turn.
hovering around. The fish woman looks up, kind of mutters some sort of unspoken curse under her breath in some sort of fish language.
Some sort of fish language.
Some sort of
Because
fish
they all sound the
language.
same, mate, innit?
So you lot, they do, yeah.
There you go.
Do any of you speak Fishman?
I speak Common, Celestial, and Infernal.
And you
I
do not
speak
speak Fishman.
Common, gnome, undercommon, elf, giant, and thieves' cant, but not fishman.
Fish person. Guiding bolt. Is this a concentration? No, it's not.
Uncanny dodge.
Seeing you strike the shark creature, she like gazes up and she holds up what looks almost like a pair of. It's like a kind of like a coral shell, like a flat coral shell, but on it is like almost like baby shark's teeth, like in a wide open jaw. And she kind of holds it up, almost like a holy symbol. And she holds it up and then points it at you, and this kind of blast of white light emerges from it as she casts a guiding bolt. So your AC is 9.
9, yeah.
Well, that's a 7 for me to hit.
Wow.
So you see this blast coming. Do you want to duck it, or you could even
might try and
deflect
hit
it
it
with?
with grief, yeah.
You kind of knock it away as this bolt just. And she kind of like shakes her fist.
Pathetic. Not even a glorious battle.
That shark is dead. So Malice, you're there.
Is the other shark still
It's like yeah.
trying to?
Yeah, its attacks are very precise for a creature.
Okay. Is this the one that she looked like she
kind of was like-
commanded?
yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm gonna shout at her again. We're just gonna keep doing this unless you go away, and then I'm gonna hit this shark.
Okay.
Hit the shark.
The shark.
That shark.
23.
That's a hit.
5 damage.
Yep.
Second
Fan
attack.
blade cuts through.
13 to hit.
That hits.
It does.
Just.
6 damage and unarmed. 13 again.
Yep. Just hits.
4. That was trash damage.
Okay, so you pummel this kind of shark creature with all these blows, and it kind of thrashes around in its blood, but it doesn't seem to be. You don't fully kill the creature. It kind of thrashes around all these different cuts along its body, but you can see that there's definitely some healed scars. It's probably had cuts like these before, but yeah, just continues to thrash away at your. However, this time the fishmen now, seemingly no longer afraid. Swim towards you, and as you're leaning down to kind of strike at this creature, one of them is going to try and reach up and grab you and try and pull you into the water. That's a natural 1. It goes to swing up, and you just kind of like plant a foot fair in its face and just push it away, and just splashes around. The other one's going to swim up and try and grab you.
I smirk happily that they're fighting still.
Okay, it tries to grab you, tries to grab you, and you just parry it away with the blade as they're now thrashing. You can see they've got these long claws with these kind of long, jagged, sharp talons, and they're just kind of trying to grab and slash towards you, like leaning up out of the water from the boat.
I'm very dismissive of them. I feel like they're
You are
pathetic.
very dismissive. Tolshank.
Gonna move over to the other side, where the other shark is.
Uh-huh.
Just gonna try that again.
Okay, yeah. So attack roll with just a strength bonus.
Wow.
Is that natural 1?
Yeah.
Natural 1.
Give me an acrobatics check. As you kind of topple yourself, you're like,
Actually, that's not too
He's got
bad.
a high
That's
bonus.
14.
Even though you kind of like overstep it, you kind of and you manage to like catch yourself on the edge and that was close. And this shark is now snapping its jaws at you as
Fine.
you're trying to pull your hand back out.
That plan doesn't work. I'm just gonna use my. I guess it. Could I use a hide as a bonus action? Just duck down underneath. Okay, I'm just gonna duck down anyway.
You're out in the middle of the sea in a boat. You can get a bit of cover, maybe.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just.
You just
get
lie down in the boat, like roll into the middle. I can just see him like lying down and then just roly-polying.
I'll lay in
chest
his
piece.
armour, in the shape of his armour.
Well, yeah, you're a bit bigger than the armor, but yes, you can kind of hide in amongst all the stuff as you do that. Taryn.
Is it me already?
Yep.
It's not worth.
Worth
I'm off.
Oh, okay.
It's actually you, last shark, worthless lady.
What's the closest? Is the lady close
There are
to me?
two. There's one guy trying to grab you that's trying to pull you into the water. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm going to stab a fool.
Okay.
I'm going to try and use.
You can see that they're quite muscular. They've got this kind of thick, fish-like hide covering them like scales. Sohogan. If you'd like to look up what these creatures look like, that's Sohogan.
Is there an image of them in the book?
I can show an image.
So, Great Weapon Master. Is it two separate things? So,
Great Weapon Style is a fighter thing. Great Weapon Master
Great
is a
Weapon
feat.
Master has two things in it. So
Okay, what is it?
scoring a critical hit or reducing it to 0 allows me to make a bonus action attack.
Yes, that's...
But it also says I can choose to take a -5 penalty.
yes, they're two separate things, but you get both
But
benefits.
it's part of the same feat.
Yeah, it's part of the same feat.
I'm going to try it. Great Weapon Master.
So you know,
Oh, okay.
so they look like this.
Oh, so they've got legs
Yeah, they're like
and a tail.
humanoid with
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
a.
Gotcha.
I've used my challenge ability already, so I can't guided strike this.
But so you take a -5 penalty.
It's the attack roll. It's 10 minus 5, 5 plus 7, 17. 12.
12. You kind of pick the blade up, and what is it like? I guess because it's like a heavier strike. You're sacrificing accuracy for more
swinging
swing.
down into
You are
it.
literally like bringing it up as high as possible. Any kind of seasoned warrior would see this coming. I'm also just checking my mic hasn't fallen off. Any warrior would see this coming, but you just kind of bring it down in this huge chop-like action, and the creature is so kind of frenzied trying to grab up at you. It doesn't quite seem to anticipate the danger of this big metal stick that you've got, and you just bring it down on it, so you get the +10 damage bonus.
Oh, it actually hits.
It actually hits.
Shit, son. Alright, so 2 ones.
Wow.
I'll roll
Which you can re-roll because of your thing, but you have to take the re-roll.
Well, that was much
63,
better.
9 plus 4, 13 points plus 10, 23 points
Whoa.
damage.
Nice.
You split the creature from the top of its head until the middle of its body. You just watch as it kind of splits apart. The blade comes out perfectly clean, but this green blood just sprays over the boat, over you, your unarmored form. Entrails flop out like these kind of white translucent like fish guts just kind of pile out into the sea as this thing just flops into the water. The creature beside it, like, is...
I'd slowly turn my head at it, and yeah.
The fish woman lets out a shriek, like blah, 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 and just begins to
I'm gonna
chanting
hold
in their
up Reef
language.
to the sky and say, "Is this enough of an offering, or shall I kill more?"
You
Tempest.
You don't hear a response yet.
It's always a yes.
Okay.
As in, kill more.
The remaining shark, will attempt to bite the one trying to pin its head.
You say I'm mad.
Well, yeah, I'm mad in my own way.
5 points as the shark chomp onto the arm, like maybe gets like a hand, like you have to pry its jaws off your hand.
Dear.
I'm not going to uncanny dodge that one.
You can do. Why not?
Well, I'm worried about the trident thing.
Oh yes, that's true. Well, it's her go next. She will.
I'm half dead.
You've killed one. You've killed one of the sharks. The other shark is really injured. The other one hasn't taken any damage, but I think she will. She barks an
Isn't
order.
it my turn before her?
It is before her, yeah. Oh yeah, she'll go.
What just attacked Malice? Was it
One of the
these?
Sahorgans.
person,
Yeah,
yeah.
one of the
One of the
fishmen, basically. There was two
fishmen.
fishmen, 2 sharks, and the priestess.
And is he injured?
He's not
No.
injured, no.
But
He
the
has not
shark
been injured.
is injured.
The shark is injured, which just took a bite out of Tolshak. It kind of reared up into the boat Jaws style. Nom.
Nom nom.
Yeah, I'd go for the Sahuagin.
Okay. So you're going to activate the right.
So I kind of, just slowly stand up, shake myself out. Well, that just won't do, dearie, will it? I say to you, and then go over, and I'm going to activate Crimson Rite of Storm.
So you kind of coat your hand along the edge of the spear. You watch as she cuts her own hand, so you reduce your HP by 6.
Sacrificing blood.
The blood kind of like streaks across the blade, and as the blood kind of drips down the spear, it begins to crackle electricity, and the whole spearhead starts to crackle and surge as this kind of lightning bolt swirls around it, traced from the blood itself.
Watching curiosity.
11.
The first strike. Don't forget. I think. Do you have 2 attacks? Do you have extra attack? So the first strike, the creature just manages to duck out the way as the spear comes sailing down.
18 plus 5.
Straight into its head as the second one like carves into part of its.
Sort of like thing, but would the lightning touching the water cause it to spread?
Maybe.
Okay, so
Let's find
I've
out.
dealt 8 points of piercing damage and 5 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
Nice.
They don't have lightning resistance, so they're just going to take the full thing. So that's going to be 13 points total. The spear grazes across its skull, like arcing, the lightning scorching parts of its face, but it does kind of survive and it staggers back. As the tip of the spear hits the water, the lightning does spread out a little bit. I'm going to make a quick for the shark. Roll your Crimson Right damage for me.
5.
5 points, going to take half of that. Half a dab.
Half a debt.
Have a debt.
Shark, it was at 15, yeah, so the shark does seem to kind of like, it kind of jolts as it gets hit. The lightning doesn't spread out too far, it doesn't seem to have enough current and power to go out super far, but it does zap the shark a little bit. On that turn, seeing how injured things are, she kind of barks an order in like this fish tongue, and you can see the creature about to try and swim away. She will direct the trident to actually strike at Tarim, because he just literally cut one of her people in half. As this trident kind of swans her for 1 again.
Man, I'm lucky.
These dice that we now have, these special dice that we have for high rollers, oh boy, they don't like me. This trident kind of swipes over the head, but then it just kind of evaporates into water and just kind of dissipates over you, drenching you, but nothing really happens.
Face me, cowards.
But then she kind of like holds up her symbol and you watch as some of the wounds on the fishman and the shark heal, but then they look as if they're about to back away, and she starts swinging backwards as well.
Do not retreat.
They look like they are retreating.
Don't
It is Malice, you'll go.
So they're retreating.
It
And she
looks
has
that way.
healed partially.
She's still healed some of them, yeah.
So I'm just going to let them go then,
You just
because I can't be bothered.
back off. Okay.
Actually, I might use my action to use my fear thing again, just to make them go way faster,
Just encourage them.
just to encourage them.
What was it, DC 14?
14.
The shark certainly seems frightened, but the fishman
Yeah, just really
is more terrified of him. He's just like, he's already kind of spooked, so he's just backing off regardless.
That's it, young lady. Well done.
Thank you.
The Sahorgan will disengage and swims 40 feet away.
No.
Is it disengaged?
Full shank?
Oh.
It is disengaging.
Come
Is
back.
there anything you'd like to do?
So they're just miles away.
It looks like the
off.
fishman has gone about 40 feet away. The shark is a bit slower to react. You've got time to hit that one if you wanted to. Took a bite out of you.
Took a bite out of me.
Take a bite out of it.
Did the fear affect the shark?
Yes, it does seem to be, yeah.
And if it was to run away from,
Swim.
or yeah, if it was to swim away from Malice, the fear, would it be in the direction of the island? I need to know.
Well, it could go 360 degrees and it would still be away from Malice, so you don't know.
It could have taken us the other direction.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pit on it.
Just gonna let it go?
No, I'm
great
going to.
Just punch it.
Brass knuckles are on now. I'm just going to lean over and just punch it in the top of the head.
Yeah, okay. So make your attack.
Ooh, right
use
on
your
the old
normal-
radar snout.
That is 12.
12. It's actually enough, and it is next to 5 feet of an ally, so you get sneak attack.
Oh my god.
So you
2,
watch
3.
as this little deep gnome leans over the side, and it's just like,
Just grab my 4d6.
Plus your regular damage as well.
yeah, oh
It's
man.
not bad.
14, 17 plus
Your damage.
3. That's 20 damage.
Just watch as it collapses the shark's skull, and its just body just floats to the top of the water. Like the body just
Bloody
floats. You kind of pull your hand out; it's covered in like fish stinky like oil.
You
and
fight with honor.
glue.
That was for They got your guy.
Tempest.
That one, yes.
Taran, it's your go, but the fish people are 40 feet away.
I'm just shouting, why do you flee? Face me!
You trying to scare them to fight you?
You
or?
dishonor the gods.
You can make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Please come back. Die to my blade.
Trying to appeal to a certain sense of them.
7 plus... What?
Persuasion. Because you're trying to convince them to fight you.
13.
13. There's a moment where the priestess kind of looks and she raises up her holy symbol.
You don't want vengeance.
But then the other one is just like, bah, 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 like shaking her shoulders and points at the dead body of the man who split in half. And she's just like, she like points a clawed finger and like does this. And they begin to swim away.
I will wipe your kind off the face of the sea.
Malice, is there anything you would like to do?
Worthy.
The sea.
No, worthless.
Worthless.
Worthful.
I will turn around to speak to Malice, and in doing so, accidentally trip up.
You want to try and
With the butt of my spear.
You want to basically do a slapstick knock into the water. Okay. Why don't you give me a attack roll?
20.
Okay, give me an acrobatics check. So she hits you as she like spins around, like knocking you with the butt of the spear.
12.
12? 12's enough to stay in the boat. Like you stumble and there's a moment where you almost fall in as this spear kind of connects with your back and then you turn around.
I'm going to spin
and
around
she's holding it back.
and hold
Whoopsie
grief
doody.
up to your neck.
Ooh.
If you try anything again, I'll not hesitate to cut that head.
Remember that talk we were just having about how all of us were going to die and backstabbing was not going to happen?
Oh, this is front stabbing.
Oh, good. Any stabbing is not going to happen. Let's get to shore.
Tell her that.
Worthless. Sit down, please.
Okay, dearie.
This old lady just sits in the boat.
Put grief down.
You put it down.
I don't have the scaffold or anything.
You just put it down in the middle of the boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you just watch these creatures swimming away. Like occasionally the female one looks back and just glares, and then they dip under the water and vanish.
I'm going to throw a pit on after him.
They do not face us honorably.
They didn't like you, though.
Listen, might be something I need to tell you about, actually. See, I'm a thief, and I take valuable goods from here and there. And I'm not taking something, not from the sea people, not from the whatever those were, that they're not a big fan of. It's kind of a hate symbol. See this cloak here, this radiant glow.
He wears this very ostentatious. It's kind of made from like dark black and deep red like fabrics, but weirdly it has like metal plates like kind of attached to this cloak that kind of move with him, and it's got flame designs and things like that. on
Yeah,
it.
some of it's sort of covered by like feathery sort
Like
of
the cape
mantles
and stuff.
things
Yeah, the
like that.
mantle and stuff.
The majority of it is clear. See, this is like a hate symbol for them.
You guys,
Have you ever
anybody
owned it before?
can make a history or an arcana check, by the way, to see if they recognise the cloak.
Don't care.
No.
If you don't care, then yeah.
No,
No.
7.
It just looks like a cloak.
Now, I didn't think this information prevalent. I don't think we'd be fighting, you know, fish men.
Well,
Really?
we are.
Well, we did, and we overcame it. Just so you know, that's a thing you need to consider
See,
from now
people of the sea do not like you right now.
on. Well, fish
We're
people.
in the middle of shore's far away. Do you want to get rowing? Because it's kind of your life, not mine.
I'm a little bit weak from that battle. I don't know how many. I took a couple
I'm
of.
just going to go and sit over here and I'm just going to go and do exactly what he did before and get my fan out and start fanning myself.
Tall, what use is that cloak? I notice you have a lot of excessive garments on you. Does it actually serve a purpose? Or shall I rip it off you and throw it in the sea?
I kind of like it, for starters. It's worth a lot of money.
I'm going to crack my knuckles.
Let's just
Sound
say,
effect for you.
I've been killed for this before. Okay?
Does it hold monetary value, or will it actually help you in battle?
It will help me, yeah. It's got +1 AC. Don't know how to describe that in the actual...
It provides magical protection.
It provides magical protections for me. That's all you need to know.
But you also draw magical attention.
From only fish people. Which, once we get on land, I don't think we'll be worried about.
I'm just gonna shove an oar in his hands. Best get rowing then.
I suppose I should.
I'm gonna take the other oar.
Are you two going to row for the whole way to shore?
I'll do it for 20 minutes.
I will do that.
20 minutes. That's quite some time.
It's a third of the, half.
He's got to flex his guns, mate.
Right, I'm just trying to figure it out. So if I worked it out, it was 300 feet, no, 500 feet a minute with two of you rowing. So
That's
to go
10 minutes for
It's
5,000.
under 10 minutes, yeah, because you've already rowed some of it. So
How
it's
well
under
do
10
you
minutes.
think a half-dead deep gnome with 13 strength is going to do?
Oh, 13 strength, you'll be okay. What's your con?
12.
Oh yeah, you mean you can do a fair bit. Like rowing for like 8 minutes is probably doable.
So I do a strength check to see if I can keep going? Because I've done it once
No,
already.
I think you're okay. Like you're a very athletic
I'll be
person as well. You're a
worn
soldier.
out, but-
Yeah. It's like if you were trying to do it in combat where you're like trying to row really fast and get away. You can also go a bit slower and save your energy just by rowing a bit slower.
I'll go at his pace.
Yeah, so like by the time you guys make it, you don't have any further problems. Like you manage to get the boat up onto the soft sand. There's actually a very steep kind of like embankment from the beach, I guess, but it's like a very fine rock pebble kind of like beach, kind of very volcanic. You haul the boat up, you then start folding it up. After you take your things out, it forms back into its little wooden cube. And yeah, you basically can don your gear. I'm guessing you put your armor on pretty quickly.
That's the first thing I do, yeah.
Okay. It's probably around 1-2 o'clock. And you suspect that it'll be about a day and a half's travel to the city. There is, as you kind of, you see this beach, you get up onto the kind of like tufty kind of grassland, which kind of rises above the beach, that kind of forms the first layer of Thay, this first layer of open fields. And you can see that it's very gentle hills. There is a worn dirt path. There's no stone roads or anything at this point, but there is a dirt path which seems to lead towards that direction. And you can see off in the distance, you can see farms, small forests, but not very dense, like maybe a couple of like small copse of trees here and there, but that's about it. Definitely not lumber forests and things like that. It mainly tends to be kind of rocky, open plains. Occasionally you find areas which have got like quite tall fences engraved with symbols that just don't seem to have much in it, like rocks, bushes, scrubland. That's about it.
Protected land.
Yeah. You guys travel, it gets to maybe evening time, and as it gets to about 8-9 o'clock at night, the sun is beginning to go down, and here, where the sun sets, it nestles just behind, rises in the east, sets in the west. So it nestles down behind like a very forested country far off to the south, and the golden light kind of shines in and takes over, I think. There's not really any campsites or like places where you can get off the road necessarily, because it is these big open fields, but perhaps maybe about 40 minutes hike you can see what appears to be some large buildings kind of nested together, along with like some sort of fenced in orchard.
Shall we seek shelter for the night, or do you wish to camp in an open field?
I think we'll be able to find ourselves some nice place to rest.
Right.
If they're
Nice
populated, I'm sure we'll
place.
find a way to stay the
Thay.
night regardless.
Not everyone is a red wizard out to kill us. But keep your wits about you nonetheless. Especially worthless. I'd like you to have some wits. Let's go.
Okay, so you begin hiking your way, and it's drawing nearly, close to 9:30 to 9:45 sort of thing, like late in the
Quite
evening.
late.
The stars are out, the moon is kind of shining down, and as you approach, you can see that there is this very vast orchard, citrus fruits, apples, that sort of thing, all kind of different, fruits and vegetables and things being grown in this kind of very large farm allotment, but it's all fenced in and it's huge. It's very expansive. We're talking like maybe a couple of acres of land, basically, all just dedicated to these different plants. And you can see that there are very carefully placed around storage units for like tools and things like that. And there is a selection of about 3 or 4 buildings, one of which appears to be more of a traditional farmhouse, very lavish, well-worn, decorated with beautiful woods, stone kind of foundations. The other buildings are, tall wooden buildings, sturdy, but certainly not anything of comfort or design or anything like that. You can see lights in the windows of the big building, but there are none in the 3 others. But there is definitely voices, and there are people moving around inside them.
I definitely would have plucked an apple off the tree, just started eating it. I've got a half helmet, so my mouth is exposed. I'm just
Okay, so you're just nomming away on this.
carelessly pluck it off of this person's farm,
Okay.
chowing down as I go.
Okay.
We should go to the lights. There's people in there.
Oh, young man. I am but an old crone.
Okay.
Please help me, my bones are tired. As soon as he touches me,
Oh God!
I'm going to grip his hand so
Okay.
I can't put it away.
Okay.
And it's all gonna start glowing.
Right?
It's gonna glow.
So, are you trying to pull away?
I mean, yes.
Strength checks, both of you.
I like how you're
Tricks.
still holding.
I like it. Dedication.
17.
18.
Oh!
Is that 17 with your bonus?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
18
so he does manage to. He's actually stronger than he looks for a little guy, and he's like, "Ah!" and he yanks his hand free before you can complete what you were trying to do.
You should trust an old lady, young man.
Listen, I'm looking for a place just as you are. What the hell was that?
Come, you look tired.
Right, I'm going to back away from her.
Trust me, I'm a mother.
At this point, the door to this elaborate house opens up, and a kind of maybe in about sort of like late 30s, grizzled kind of beard, sort of like quite shaven head, but with sort of like almost like a small mohawk down the middle kind of thing, wearing loose tunic. Almost looks like not quite nightwear, as if he was just getting ready, with an enormous crossbow in his hands, belt slung over his side with a sword and quiver, and he's like holding it up, and he's just like, now what's going on here? Who are you?
You say he's just a human? Or...
It's a human-looking fellow. You can see 2 quite aggressive-looking dogs kind of come out from behind the door, sit behind him, and you can they're not growling, but they are watching you very carefully, and these 2 dogs are kind of beside him. He's like, what? These?
I'm gonna take my helmet off and kind of put down my shield and spear. And
folks.
just sort of walk forward and be like, oh, young man, have you got...
Now, hold on a minute there, old woman. Stop where you are. Who are all of you?
Listen to me.
What are you doing outside of my house, outside my property?
Hi.
I'm holding like the brass knuckles behind my back. I'm holding one hand up, or like as best I can, just to look honest.
He pulls the...
I'm slowly
make
walking
sure-
towards them and saying, listen to me, we come in peace. We're just looking for lodgings for the night. We're lost, we're travellers.
Looking for lodgings, making a racket outside of a man's house is not the way to go about it, I suppose.
Just
Are
a
you eating
disagreement.
one of my apples?
Is it your apple when it falls onto a public pathway?
This is not public land, this is mine.
Do you have accommodation or not?
I do. Are you going to pay for my apple?
I'll pay for the lodging.
Well, perhaps I might increase the price then. I do not offer lodgings. This is not some wayward traveller's inn.
We should have said, let's move along. He doesn't want our coin.
He eyes you up for a minute. How much coin would you be willing to offer?
I'm going to slowly step towards him and just say, whatever it is you want us to pay, but just a night.
How close are you getting to him?
I'm just like slowly walking towards him. Like,
Okay, when you get to about 15 feet away, he's kind of got these little wooden steps leading down onto the path. His house is slightly raised. The dogs start growling like. "Rrrr."
Is there any reason why?
They look pretty brutal. They look pretty nasty dogs as well.
I mean, you're a thief.
It's more that he's still pointing this crossbow at you.
Listen, there's no need for the weapons, no need for hostilities.
He looks down. He's like, let me count here. One armored man with an enormous-looking greatsword, one crazed old woman with some sort of shield and spear,
Not crazed, just old.
and then some sort of half-man with grey skin. And what is this? Midnight-coloured elf? You can understand that I'm a little bit concerned.
I understand completely. I mean, it's a little bit rude what you were saying there. But all we are just a roving band of, ragtag adventurers, let's just call it that. We'll give you the money, we'll sleep the night. That's all.
Do you have a barn or something outside that we can stay in?
I don't keep cattle here. This is not a cattle farm. I don't have a barn, but
Some
I do
shelter
have.
for your stock?
I have some lodgings. I have some spare rooms inside the house, if you are willing to behave yourselves as guests.
Oh, I'm just an old lady, I am. Just want to warm me old bones.
We have no intention of stealing from a farmer.
I'm really laying it on thick, by the way.
He kind of chuckles at that, like, yes, I suppose. Let me guess, you're all... He kind of lowers the crossbow, but kind of keeps it loaded a little bit. He just kind of eases it off. The dog stopped growling. He's just like, I take it that you are travelling from somewhere into Thay lands. You're not Thayan, by your look of you.
I just look at them and then look back at him.
Indeed. I am not a farmer, I'm a landowner. There's a vast difference. I will expect no less than, shall we say, 10, 20, 30, 40. Is the old woman going to be a problem? She doesn't quite look right of mind.
Pensioner's discount?
Unlikely. Shall we say 40 gold for the night? I will provide you with food.
Per person.
For the group.
You got this, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to reach for my gold. It's all here in this coin purse here. I'm going to slowly walk. Huh?
Why do you have your hand behind your back there,
Okay.
grey man?
I'm going to sleight of hand my brass knuckles into like a back pocket. And
He's
then
like, you don't even need to make the check. Like,
Yeah.
you know how to do that. You're a professional.
Sorry, just my back hurts a bit, that's all. I'm going to reach for the gold. No need for the crossbow. I'm going to come over. I'm going to give it to you.
He like puts the crossbow up on his shoulder, holds out his hand.
I'll go to him. Like, reach for my back pocket again. Loop in the brass knuckles.
Okay.
And I'm just going to wing punch.
Okay. Yay! Sandbox game. So it's
points of
you catch him
crossbow.
by surprise. You have advantage on the attack
Us
roll.
by surprise.
Wham!
As he does it, I'm going to go,
Advantage. You have advantage
Oh, you have
because he's
advantage.
surprised.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
That was an actual one, by the way.
It was an actual one.
I'm going to
now
go,
it's
oh dearie, and possibly Lorks.
14.
Wham! Sneak attack damage.
Oh god.
Are you trying to kill him or knock him unconscious?
I just want to punch him for pointing the crossbow at me, you bastard.
Okay. Are you trying to just punch him or are you trying to knock him out? I thought you were going to try and knock him
I want to
out.
knock him prone, at
Okay.
the very least.
Okay. So yeah.
1, 2, 4, 9. That's garbage for 6.
Plus your normal modifier as well.
12 damage.
12 damage. I mean, this man is not a hardened adventurer.
He's wearing
You
nightgowns.
pretty much, the brass knuckles, you hear like probably bone crunch as his jaw, and you just lay him to the ground, like, poof, like you knock him black out. KO punch, bam. As you do, the dogs literally go for you in an instant. They just leap up towards you, ready to attack whoever attacked their master. Let me quickly grab a monster manual here. Because I wasn't expecting you to attack the landowner.
Oh, neither were we.
It's expensive.
I'm paying 40 gold.
He pointed a crossbow at us and insulted all of us. So I mean,
I don't know. Midnight Elf was better than I've had before, so it's...
Quite sexy. You know?
11,
It's not
I'm
as
assuming
bad.
doesn't hit you.
it doesn't.
And no, that one won't. The dogs kind of go for you, but you manage to kind of get like your leather braces or whatever into their muzzles, and they're kind of like biting down, and you're like throwing them off, but they don't manage to like pierce through.
Can I just do like a bellowing shout at the dogs to try and like, intimidate them away?
You can give me an intimidate check, but it probably will be an advantage. These are trained guard dogs, yeah. It's not a magical fear effect. You're just trying to basically order them down,
15.
like 15. I'll give them a wisdom saving throw with advantage on this. One of them seems to kind of like step back and kind of like lets go of the deep gnome, but the other one is just like biting down and is like trying to like wrestle you. It's trying to like throw you to the ground, and it's like letting go, and it's now trying to snap for his neck and things like that. What do you and Malice and Worthless want to do?
Why would you do that?
As
Why?
if being bitten.
That's
Why?
Malice's action is just why?
I might just... I don't know.
Like nerve pinch a dog.
I do that?
You can stunning strike if you have that. I don't think you do though. I think that's
I
high
do.
level. Oh, do you have stunning strike? You can stunning strike it.
can't really be bothered though.
Oh, yeah, don't
this is
then.
his
See how
problem.
this
Yeah,
plays
just
out.
don't.
It's
Let
your
the dog
fucking
fucking savage
problem,
him.
I'm pretty much just gonna cross my arms and watch.
Okay,
And be
I'm
like,
just gonna tut a little bit and start
just watch.
walking towards the house.
Okay. The dog is like desperately trying to bite him, but it doesn't. The one that you ordered is kind of like slinking back, but it's moving into the house. And it starts barking like
Okay.
and runs off into the house. You move into the house, and are you gonna try and what are you gonna try and do about this dog?
Is it my turn?
Yeah, I'm not doing initiative. It's kind of like take an action and then they'll get an action.
I'm gonna just try and shake it off while at the same time grabbing for like my mace cane thing
Yeah.
and just like sort of hit it away as best I can.
You want to basically like fend it off, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me an attack roll, like with your cane. Yeah, that's enough. Like you swat it on the face a few times, and it kind of like barks off. It's still aggressive, and it's still trying to bite you, but you managed to get it off your arm, and you're fending it away, basically. After a bit of time,
I'm going to stand in the way and just kind of push it towards the door where the other dog is, because I'm full plate, so
so you're just going to like basically pick up,
be
like,
a-
almost like pick up the dog and push it.
pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of kick at it and stuff, but
Yeah.
not hurt it. Just
Yeah,
like
you're just trying to
kick the
shoo it
dirt
away and
at
stuff.
it
Yeah, yeah. Like it's kind of like backing off. It's very wary of you because you're obviously armored. It seems to register that it can't hurt
Biting
you.
would hurt,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's just like and you're kind of getting in its way and shoving it back. Did you say you entered the house?
I'm heading towards it.
You're heading
like,
towards
yeah.
it. So you're shuffling the dogs. One dog's inside. The other one's good. You can see Worthless is just making her way inside. That's when you start to hear like, Devon, what's going on? Father? And this, you can basically
You see what you do.
like, there are figures inside, like, making their way, like, someone, call the guards, get the guards!
Okay. This is the anti-hero gameplay, right? I want to pick up the crossbow.
He's got the murder hobo bug, that's the problem. He's just like, I can do anything.
I don't want to kill anything. I'm going to try and pick up the crossbow from Devon
Yeah.
off the ground while still trying to fend off.
Good looking heavy crossbow, well made.
Nice, interesting. And now if I'm just still poking the dog away as best.
Yeah,
I can.
you
Right,
and
towards the house.
Taryn are basically forcing it back into the building. You can hear like this kind of woman shrieking. She's like, "We're being attacked! Attack guards!" And like you can start to hear like, other rustlings coming from the buildings. The other thing, who's got passive perception above 13?
What is
How'd you
passive
work
perception? I haven't worked out.
It's 10 plus your perception bonus.
13.
So 13.
Unless you are
11.
proficient in perception, and then you add your proficiency.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
would add
Oh.
your proficiency. Yeah. I mean,
No.
your perception bonus
Yeah.
should have that in.
What
your
is this?
proficiency. So Malice, you start to hear voices coming from the other three buildings without the lights, and as you look over with your dark vision, being half drow, you can see very clearly in the light. There are faces of very long-haired, heavily bearded men, but also incredibly long-haired women, kind of like peering through like these wooden slat windows. And you can kind of hear them like, they're attacking. And they're whispering to each other like, are they here for us? Are they gonna break us out? Kind of thing, like whispering amongst themselves.
I'm going to walk over towards that place.
Okay, as you get closer, you basically hear them like, well, someone's coming. And you can hear them rustling like, what should we do? We can't run, no. They'll catch us, they'll send.
Is there like a window that's open that
There's
I can
not,
hear this?
they're shuttered,
or-
and you can see they're actually locked on the outside. There's padlocks on the doors, on the outside of the windows and
Can I
doors.
try and open?
It's heavily locked. Like, these padlocks look pretty.
They can hear me though if I touch them.
Yeah. Like, one of them's here.
Hi, who are you?
Like, they kind of go silent, and you just hear like, are you here? Are you here to kill the master?
Are they keeping you captive?
Well, yes, we're slaves.
Interesting. Continue. They've got slaves over here.
With pleasure.
I'm sort of in the doorway. What do I see?
So as you get onto the doorway, one of the dogs will try and take a snap at you as you try and move past, but it just bites into the breastplate and it's like and you just shake it off. Kind of thing. You can see at the top of a grand set of stairs leading up. The room is very lavish. Fine dining tables. You can see a beautiful fireplace made with stone, with beautiful kind of ornaments on the side. Lots of artistry about the place, like sculpture and paintings, very beautifully rendered. At the top is a woman bald of head completely, but with very heavy, kind of like beautiful eyes, long nightgown, like covered in these beautiful designs, clutching a son, again, very close cropped hair, dressed in a red tunic, almost like a nightgown, like holding him away. He's probably no more than 5 or 6, and she's like holding him back, and she's looking at you in terror. What do you want? Guards, guards! And you can start to see that at the far end of the room, there's it almost looks like a military barracks, like several sets of doors, and you can begin to see them opening, and men in kind of looking a bit dazed, men and women, I should point out, wearing leather, kind of like hastily put on tunics with long clubs and shields, are like starting to make their way out, and like, milady, what's going on?
How many do I see?
At the moment, you only see 2, but you can probably guess that there's more behind them and stuff like that.
Would I have heard Malice saying about slaves?
Probably.
I shout pretty loud.
I'm going to say... Fuck it. Blessings be upon this house, and then necrotic shroud!
Are you just going to target everybody you can see?
Yes!
Okay.
And the dog.
And the dog.
Okay.
The dog.
So it's a wisdom saving throw, DC...
12.
And this causes fear, right?
Frightened.
Frightened, yeah, so fear. So she's fine. You automatically fine.
Is that the mother and the child as well?
Yep.
Shit goes shit.
Well, I normally care about mothers and children, but...
The woman just goes, the colour drains out of her immediately. Like this spectral wings fly out, this darkness kind of coalesces throughout the room. The boy, I mean, he just screams, just screaming. She clutches him and just runs upstairs. She just grabs him and flees. 2 of the guards stumble back, and he's just on the ground, scrabbling away from you, kind of in abject terror. The dog whines. Both of them just whine and flee immediately as they begin hurling themselves away. One of the guards kind of pours out, and he's stunned for a moment, but then he kind of overcomes it. He's like, "Demons! Somebody summon..." And he's kind of like getting himself ready, looking like he's about to attack it, rush forward.
Yeah, I'm just going to say...
Unaffected.
Now, think twice before you do that. I have some friends outside who will take care of you if you attack an old lady.
He kind of like stands down. He's like, "If you think that you can take this house by force or take the master's property, you're mistaken. We're Thayan guards," and you can see a few more beginning to come around. There's maybe 3 that have like come out. The 2 already run away.
Can
3
I
more
break
kind of emerge.
the locks on these on the barracks or anything?
What do you want to try and break them with? You don't reckon your war fans would be able to? Well, they are magical. They might be able to cut through it.
Can I try?
You can try.
See.
Yeah, absolutely.
My frightening lasts for 1 minute.
Okay. These people are fucking just like the
minute
woman is upstairs just crying. You can just hear like the boy is still screaming. The guards are basically fled out of the back door, but 3 of them are kind of standing you down, like trying to get ready.
It was like a 10 to hit.
You can hit easily enough. The lock, you begin working your way, like cutting through, and you can start to hear them going like, "She's freeing us! She's freeing us!" But you kind of hear other voices like, "It's no good. It doesn't matter. They'll just send the patrols after us. They'll catch us in no time. There's nowhere to run."
Can I see what's going on inside the house?
Yeah, you can like
You're
like
right
the
behind
dog
me.
is like the dog that you are ushering in blasts past the both of you and just runs out into the fields.
I'm gonna be like, "For fuck's sakes!" And I'm gonna storm back and grab the unconscious master.
Man, yeah, he's
And
kind
just-
of coming to a little bit. He's like, "What's going on?
got him
My
in a headlock.
jaw."
Got him in head. And then I'm gonna bring him into the room.
Like,
Come on, you.
I'm coming.
the guards are there like, "Let go of him right now."
I'm gonna break his neck unless you stand down and let us go.
You want to go?
But we have to now, don't we? Are we gonna stay here for the night? Probably not.
They kind of lower their arms.
Also, I'm gonna help myself to some apples if you don't mind.
They kind of just, they don't let go of their weapons, but they clearly lower the clubs and things like that. Let him go then.
Hang on a minute, where's Malice?
I'm outside.
You don't know. Like, the 3 of you are in this house. She's like, ting, ting, like
I actually
chopping away at these locks.
want to talk to them because they're talking about patrols.
Okay.
I want to discuss that.
Let's do with these guys.
Come on, old dear. Time to leave.
Oh, but it's so nice and warm here.
I know, we'll find somewhere else nice and warm, without slaves.
Hang on a minute.
Master's weak neck.
I think Malice had something to say about this man, actually. And I'm going to sort of peek out the door.
Okay, nice. So what are you asking these people?
What was that about patrols?
The patrols, they'll send them from Byzantium.
Oh, really?
The wizards, they'll come after us. They can find us anywhere. No, they can't. That's just what they tell us to keep us like this. You're an idiot. And you can hear like a deeper voice just like, I've made an escape run 4 times. They will come for us. Stay here, avoid punishment. These people don't understand. And then you can hear like, no, I'm getting out of here. I'm not going to be a slave to these barbaric, evil... I'm getting out of here, please. And like you can see this man, he looks maybe human, but he's kind of got like a thick beard. His hair is ridiculously long, like down below his shoulders.
Luscious.
And he's kind of like looking at you. He doesn't look very clean. He doesn't look dirty. He just looks hairy. And you can see he's wearing like a threadbare shirt. His hands are bruised, and he's just like, please get me out of here.
I'm gonna keep trying to break them out.
Yeah, after a
can
while,
I start
like,
kicking it as well?
You yank the door open, and you can see inside the building there's maybe 15 individuals, all kind of huddled together. They've got beds like on the floor, little kind of rudimentary tables, a few belongings, like maybe a couple of books here and there, but not much. Like a few pairs of clothing, farming tools. He like as soon as you open it, this man comes out, and you can see he isn't wearing. He has like a bracelet for shackles, but there's no chain attached to them currently.
Is there
he has them on his feet as well.
Can I look at them and see if there's any magical things on them? Any?
Doesn't appear to be.
Nothing at all.
Not at first glance.
Can I not sense any kind of?
Do you have an ability to sense magic?
No, but
You looking over them, you don't. I mean, you've seen the drow kind of glyph runes on slave collars and things before. You don't see anything like that here.
is there anything else that they have on their person, or any? Can I look for any markings on them?
Oh,
or
they've been beaten. Like you
But,
can see
like,
that they've got like
physical,
slashes
like,
and stuff.
brands,
Like brands
or
and stuff.
something?
Yeah, brands. Yeah, they've definitely got brands and things like that.
Okay.
The man, as he gets outside, starts looking around. He goes over to what appears to be some sort of store cupboard and starts just like trying to like break open some of the boards. After a while, he kind of rips one and he pulls out what appears to be like a pair of like shears or like something like that. He like snaps them off to get like a rudimentary blade. He like tucks that into his little leather belt. A woman, kind of a shy-looking dwarf woman, kind of appears, and she like looks around outside. She looks back at the others, and you can see set at the back is this old orc, full-blooded orc, like white hair. You can see he's covered in scars, just crisscrossed, and he's like, "Don't go. Don't listen to him. You will not get far. These," and he points to you. He's like, "This poor misguided soul will be dead within a day." And she like looks back at you, and then she looks at him, and she doesn't seem to be sure what's going on. At this point, Tolshank comes up to you.
Well, I was sort of peeking out and yelling from the house that we're currently in.
Yep.
It's just, Malice, you were saying something about slaves.
That's right. And you hear this man kind of calling out. He's got 40 of us here, working his bloody orchard for them, those bastards in the city.
And that's, so what was the name of the guy that I knocked on? Devon.
Darren. Devon.
So this is this Darren man you're talking about, yeah?
Aye, that's him. Landowner. Spits on the floor.
I'm going to close the door behind me and just sort of look up at Taryn and just say,
Cousin of one of them autarchs up in the city. Noble fucking bastards.
What do we care about this? I just
Taryn,
want to sleep.
this man is not a...
Thought you said you were going to let him go.
I will let him go, but there's clearly a kerfuffle outside.
No kerfuffle.
You mean the slaves that are being released?
They're out. He like looks around. He's like, yes, the master paid fairly for them. You're not sent by an autarch in the city to try and get him off him, are you?
I don't give a shit.
Then let him go, and we'll let you go.
Because you're going to run me down as soon as I leave.
Look, right now, all I care about is protecting the master and his family. You let him go, you'll have at least a good day before we can let anybody else know about it.
Give me your sword.
He like looks around.
I'm just eating some like cake that I found on the side.
Yeah, there's like pastries and pastries, but it's things like lemon cakes and
Yeah,
stuff
so
like that.
I'm just,
he
you
like
know.
puts the club and like he kicks it not to you, but he kicks it away from him. Good enough?
Fine. I'm going to look at this master, start rummaging for his front door keys.
Yeah, he's got some. Yeah.
I'm going to back him out. I'm going to walk out the front door with my companions, and you're going to stay in here.
Good.
Okay.
Done.
All right. I'm going to start backing out, And as soon as I get to the bottom of the step, is there steps going?
Yeah, there's like a patio with like little stairs going down.
I'm gonna push him
Shove
to
him
the
in.
doorway.
Like they rush forward, like grab him,
Shut the
slam
door.
the door.
If Worthless is coming out.
Yeah, I scooch behind
You
her.
kind of like out, like you take like the cake, like a plate, like
I'd take some for Malice. and
yeah, you
stuff,
just
you
take.
know.
Well, you can take the whole cake if
Yeah,
you want.
I'll take, yeah.
You just take the whole cake.
Lock the door.
You hear
It's
it
like,
lock.
Right. Assemble and move out.
You hear like the men shouting, like, "Somebody make sure he's all right. Go get those two that ran away. Those cowards. We'll make sure they're sent to the mines."
These slaves are not our problem.
No, they're not. They're gone now.
Like you can see, like one more is joined. Just another human-looking man, a bit younger, beard's a lot shorter. He kind of steps out. The older one hands him the other half of the shears. He looks at it, takes it, and then puts it in his belt. And then they look at the others. None of the others seem to be moving.
Try and take your bracelets off. Try and hide your brands. Just get away.
Good.
I don't know how these
Like, he
lines
comes
work,
up
but
to
you're
you.
free.
He comes up to you and he's like, "I've never met one of your kind before, but thank you." And he literally he's looking at you with such an intense, honest appreciation. He's like, "You don't know what it's like," and then he just runs. Like him and the other one just head off into the fields. The dwarf woman who was unsure takes a deep breath and chases after them, and the others just stay exactly where they are. The orc stands up slowly. He walks up and he's just like, "I'm so sorry," and then he shuts the door.
I'm gonna walk up to Malice. 'Cause I guess it's not too far from the house.
No, at this point.
I'm just gonna be like, oh, it feels good to be a regular hero now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me just write down some things.
So now the entire land is after us, and we have been here for less than 5 minutes.
I'll give you some cake.
I'll have the cake,
Yeah.
and we should go.
I'm just like munching on it. Okay.
I'm gonna grab a few apples.
Okay.
Of course.
Cake.
Thank you.
That may have caused us some problems.
Listen, everyone, these are not good people.
It's good
Honestly,
cake.
I feel like we just saved a few lives, and that makes us the best people on this land.
It's
I
really
mean,
good.
we did, but it seems like everyone here is like them.
Can we stop being honourable assholes and start making our way to the next
I'm
lodge?
assuming that you are conversing as you
Yeah.
move off.
Well,
and
I'm
you-
like trying to
are
stall.
you moving quickly or are you
I'm going at
like,
a pace
a
I'm
jog?
hoping that they keep up with.
I
Are you
can keep up.
keeping
I'm
pace?
faster than you.
Yeah. So like Malice is just quite casually just jogging and soon keeps up. You
I'm just
probably
sort of
struggle the
stumbling
most,
along,
yeah. And I think like Worthless,
Just
you
a-
can move if you need to,
Yeah,
but
I'm trying, you know, kind of. I'm just munching the rest of the cake, and I'm like, this is really good cake. I might go back and ask for a recipe.
Please do. As
I feel
I'm
like you sort of glide everywhere, like really eerily.
Yeah, just like she
Well,
seems to just float.
I've got robes, like really long,
Yeah.
kind of Athena robes, so you probably can't see my feet.
Okay.
I'm treating this as a scouting mission now, and my military units are in skirmish mode, as in not listening to me, and I'm on the lookout for patrols, anything coming out of trees,
Okay.
stuff like
There's
that.
not really any trees. Again, this is very big open fields. You kind of the orchard gives you some cover from like the house and things like that. And when you
Yeah.
get to a point, the dirt path winds. There is occasional hills and like rocky outcroppings. You probably have. It's not until about 1 a.m. where you're far enough away from the house. You head quite far off the track. You hop over a small wooden fence, and you find almost like a dip with a large rocky outcropping at the top that protects you from the road, so anybody along the road wouldn't see you, and you think this is probably the best place you're going to get to rest, and it is late and you are tired.
Right, debrief. You sent potentially 30 victims of slavery, whatever you want to call them, with descriptions of us out into the open world, who will be tortured and killed, and will give up information about us. So, step one, good job.
Good point.
Description of malice, for
Slaves
starters.
also know what you look like.
Well, only
Well, at least
Thank you,
malice.
Chris Trott.
At least malice.
yeah, I think it's just
Yeah,
malice,
they wouldn't have
I
seen me, would they?
Yeah, they saw Tolshank for certain,
Yeah.
and they did see you when you were at the front of the house as well. So
think. It would have been
Secondly,
quite dark.
it is, but they had lights.
Bugger.
Secondly, your diplomatic skills are less than what I thought they would be. I thought you'd deal with things via speechcraft or...
Listen, I was
Wordplay.
trying to deal with it diplomatically, but
You punched
Do you still
him
have
in
his
the
crossbow?
face.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you do have his heavy crossbow. You're like carrying it.
Nice.
Like, I got a big heavy crossbow.
If we're to remain undetected and find useful information about this death curse, We cannot be the hot, wanted people of this.
Okay, two things. One, I just didn't like the man, okay?
Neither did I.
Two, he was keeping the slaves.
He was keeping slaves.
It's
Come
not our
on.
business. We don't know what happens in these foreign lands.
I wouldn't
And
call
they're
myself
gone.
a hero, but on this night I'm going to sleep well. I saved lives.
You sentenced those slaves to death.
No, we didn't.
That's up to them from this point. As far as I'm concerned, they're released because of us.
That's such a great chaotic neutral response. I fucking love it. Like, that is like, I set them free. It's their problem now.
It was their choice.
Gave
to
them a
leave.
head start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'd like to point out that I'm just sleeping.
you just fell asleep.
Yeah, I'm just sleeping.
Way past bedtime.
I've already fallen asleep.
After that introduction, do you really think they'd have let us sleep through the night?
Well, the uppercut.
Well, I mean,
It was
before
going
that
well
point.
before that.
It
We were
was going fine before that.
The type of people they are, they could have taken us as the slaves themselves.
Usually with negotiations, we pay once the service is done. So we could have negotiated a smaller price and had the lodgings all made off before we paid.
Well, there is that.
Instead, you uppercutted him, and we released a load of slaves.
I'm just asleep.
much better than I could have hoped.
I'm just sleeping in the background.
So now, I'm going to sleep here in this ditch, eating my apple and some cake.
That's another thing, apples and cakes. We've got apples and cakes now.
I had that before you uppercutted him. I'm going to go to sleep now. I'm going to take my helmet off,
You roll out of the bed.
put Grief down, slice it into the floor,
Doesn't
stab
get
it
dirty
to the floor,
or dull.
and just and do my and sleep.
I'm going to sigh, satisfied, rub my hands together.
Good day's work. Put your new crossbow up against the rocks.
Yeah.
No bolts for it though. Except you've got one bolt which was loaded into it.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I love this character so much.
I love you, Tom Hazel. You bring the magic. You're the new Chris Trott. I love it.
Wow.
The old one. The old one's like
Dead.
now the responsible one.
Yeah.
It's a great reversal.
Boring old responsible troll.
Malice, you don't need to sleep. You only need to trance. So you are up 4 hours before any of the others even stir. Is there anything you'd like to do, or anything you want to attempt, or anything at all?
No, not particularly.
No.
Pretty chilled out.
Just pretty chill. And you're like, hey, good times.
We'll release some slaves. That's what
Okay.
Malice would have done. She's been a slave.
So if you went to sleep about, say, 1 o'clock, it's pretty much like 9 a.m. by the time you really have had enough rest to justify getting up, like a long rest. Unless you want to try and get up earlier than that and get people moving. What do you want to try and do?
I think we'd wake up naturally with the sun
Okay. So like,
because we're outside.
yeah, 7 a.m., 6:30, 7 a.m.
Is that a long rest?
If you don't do anything like because long rest isn't just sleeping. It's like you sleep and then it's like having breakfast and not being in combat and traveling.
Yeah.
So it's like if you wake up at like 6:37 and spend like an hour and a half like getting ready, having food, and not rushing off to travel, yes, you will have a long rest.
I think we'll do that.
Okay, so long rest. I'm going to reintroduce my house rule of you don't automatically regain hit points. You can spend as many hit dice as you'd like, and you regain half your level in hit dice.
I'm fine. I'm not. I'm going to brush off this.
You could also
wound.
spend some healing if after the fish battle. You could also use up
Can I
some
do
of your
that
lay on
before
hands. Before you go to sleep, I will retro allow you to use some lay on hands.
That's OP. Can I borrow a rubber? Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm so elegant.
Thing is, as soon as you said I'm gonna reach behind my back, I was like, here it comes! Oh boy!
If there was anything that he would do, he was insulted by this man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm
it's
Tom
great
Hazel.
RP.
No judgment from me. Pure joy from the dungeon
I just did not expect him.
If I was any other
be
character
like a
but this
slave
one, I'd be
master.
like,
Really interesting. Because certainly one of you had some information in the previous episode that Faye is very much about slavery.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about Faye.
No, and it's perfect for you. You did exactly what you thought. It's only you didn't really know about the slavery. It was only him that really knew about it.
I don't care.
You don't care.
So, forgive me, I should know this by now. I literally just roll a hit dice and I recover that much.
Plus your constitution modifier. So every time you roll a dice, you add your con modifier, and
Plus
you
one.
regain that many hit points.
3,
5.
5, so that's 8. I'm going to do it 2 more times.
I mean, use your lay on hand things the next time. So just remember that if you've got lay on hands hit points left and you go for a long
20.
rest,
Oh,
you might as well use
exactly.
those up
So
because it
that's
saves somebody
4
spending hit
used.
dice. Same way, like if you guys want to invest in things like healers kits,
Right.
I'll let you spend those to basically give people free hit dice to spend and stuff like that.
Cool.
I am at full health.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna
It's like
start
healing balms and splints and things like that.
doing my morning routine of cleaning
Workouts.
my helmet
Okay.
and push-ups and stuff like that.
Crunches. Get some crunches in.
Get some crunches in.
Do you want me to sit on your back so it's heavier when you do your push-ups?
I'm good, thank you.
You sure?
She only probably weighs about 85 pounds.
I put grief on my back.
Do you work out in full armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is enough. Like he doesn't need the extra weight if he's working in full plate mail. That's
I
why
might-
he's so big.
I might go over and just sit on his back anyway to see if he could do
Get
it.
off. Get
No,
off.
no,
Give
can
me
you
a
do
strength
it?
check.
Can you do it?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, he can.
3. Up.
I'll go.
He gets like maybe 10 reps out with you on his back, and then he just shunts you off. You just glide off, being a monk. You're just like.
I've had
Flips.
some thoughts. Is everybody awake?
I'm somewhere high, just looking around.
The highest you can probably get is the top of the rocks, which are sitting on the kind of overlook of this small hill. And you're just looking around, are you?
Yeah, I'm
Perception
kind
check,
of
please.
sat up there. Robes billowing around me.
12. Looking around, yeah, you can't see anything, just all big open fields. You can see the city in the distance. You can probably see a couple more farms, like not necessarily close to the road, but definitely around. And they are huge. Like they have these huge, I don't want plantations almost of like these huge kind of like wheat fields with fenced off areas, you know, outbuildings which seem to be very similar to the ones that you saw last night, and then these lavish kind of farmhouses kind of attached to them and things like that. You know, horse-drawn carts and things like that, wagons all over the place, but nobody on the main road currently at this time. And you reckon you're maybe, you travelled for most of the afternoon, you're about just under a day's travel away from the city.
The way I see it, we have 2 options. Option 1, we return to that place and kill everybody. No witnesses. 2, we make ourselves scarce and head to this town, hopefully before word reaches them about what we've done.
Listen, I don't think we need to kill everyone. Just the slavers. The slaves. They'll
Kill
be
the
our
slaves?
Whoa, no. We don't need to kill the slaves. We saved most of them. It's just the slavers.
Kill all the slavers.
Slavers, yeah.
Yes, kill all those in charge that would report this to the guards.
Exactly. We don't need to kill everyone.
They've probably already reported it.
I'm wondering if they would have or not.
I mean, you would know what you would do.
I can get ahead to this place quickly, if needs be. I can see if anyone has left already and report back.
I'd like to head with you.
Why don't we just keep going?
I've got an idea.
We can just keep going as well. You have an idea?
Disguise self.
How far are we from this place?
From the house,
From the house.
you travel for about 2 hours. I'm guessing if you were moving at a forced pace, which kind of knackered you guys out, which is why you had to rest when you found a location. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours, good hike away. I mean, how much distance can you really cover in that? I guess, like, if you were moving at, like, say, 45 feet, 6 seconds, 50 feet. That's a lot. Yeah, you're several miles away.
I'm still sat up in the rocks, just kind of staring off into the distance, just clearly in my own
Horses
world.
and move on.
Cut our losses. We'll just call it a hitch in the plan a little bit.
I'll see you there. And then I'm going to get grief. By Tempest, I summon you. Deimos. Ilga is the name.
There's a rolling black smoke, and then kind of phasing into existence, an enormous black stallion clad in ebony armor with skulls and evil symbols on it, red eyes, just emerges.
And you call me an edgelord.
He's like early 90s death metal edgelord. You're like My Chemical Romance, like Evanescence. You're Evanescence edgelord.
But a 6-year-old version.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I go up to it and pat it, check its reins and everything.
sturdy,
then-
strong.
Get on.
You're just
Grief.
gonna go without us? Really?
I can fit one
Well,
Where-
why
where
don't
are
we
you
all just
going?
keep going?
to the city.
Yes, we'll have to go
On
there
that, we can probably
anyway.
get back to the town to sort them out.
It's a
No,
waste
we
of
should
time.
just go.
Alright. Just saying.
I can scout ahead and make sure our coast is clear.
You should give a lift to an old lady whose legs are
You are
tired.
the last on my list.
Well, hey, I've got really short legs. I'm not afraid to say it. I accept it at this point, but this kind of journey tire me out.
I think you need a long walk to think about what you've done.
Hey,
You-
you'd have done it too, I think.
Did you see me uppercutting a master?
You were close enough.
Wheatfield?
I'm getting on horse.
You can try. When you try, you didn't want her on it, did you?
Not really.
Then the horse, like, it is actively preventing you from getting on.
It starts with tail swishes to
It's
try and
like
whip you.
back, but then it also backs away.
could
Like it moves on
buck
its own away,
and kick.
and it's constantly moving away from you.
Well,
You can try and force yourself onto its back if you'd like.
I'm just going to try and touch its snout.
Okay. It bites you hard, like nearly enough to draw blood, and it like and it stomps its hooves in
You
front.
cannot win over Ilgar.
Deary, deary me. Not very well mannered, is she?
Oh, very well mannered to the right people.
It's very tall, very muscular, and very proud horse.
I will scout ahead, make sure the coast is clear. You make your way to the city, and I will return.
I mean, at this point, you might as well take Manus with you. You're not going to let me on, you're not going to let this one on.
Doesn't even know a
You
name.
two can bond, and maybe you can make some sense out of her. Great, Malice.
Hey, well, oh,
Do you climb on?
Yeah.
Okay. If you allow it, the horse actually lower, like it helps you get back on, and it's you can feel this thing is a powerful fucking beast.
Deal.
And you gallop off.
Ride.
You
0
watch
to
as
60.
this fucking horse just gallops off. Little bit of a time cut. You gallop for a few hours, and on the fast speed of the horse, it's not long before you see one of the guards from the townhouse. He, with Malice's perception, you spot him just off the road. It looks like he's basically resting, like he's not asleep, but he is resting legs. It looks like he's tired, that he might have travelled all night, and he's about halfway to the city from where you were. And you catch up to this after a few hours. When he sees you, he is terrified, and he picks up and he just starts trying to run,
Malice,
like running off into the
Yep.
fields.
go kill.
We should talk to him.
Okay,
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna.
run down on the horse.
You're gonna run him down on the horse.
Well, actually, run over him.
Yeah.
Is this renegade enough for you, Mark?
This is a bang on what Mark wanted. Can you remember 16
damage.
and 11, please?
Yes.
Warhorse stats.
What are we going to be doing?
Yeah, have a good think about that while I look up stats, please.
talking this way.
Talking. What are you talking to the
What's
crazy
your
old lady
RP
about?
walking happening?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like walking and just like sort of mumbling to myself and then singing nursery rhymes.
16
Just like,
and
you know.
11.
Do you want to roll 2d6 for me there, Trot?
Sure. 6.
6 points total?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ilgar swiftly catches up with this man trying to outrun a warhorse, even though the horse is a bit tired at this point. And it gallops up, and with one hoof just buries him to the ground. You hear probably what sounds like his arm break as he like lands on it, and it's like ah! And the horse just keeps its hoof there. And he tries to get up, and he just
I'm gonna get off. Land on
don't
him.
kill me! Don't kill me! Ah!
On his leg.
Yeah, you break his
I'm
leg.
just gonna look down and like just hug the horse and just smile down
Like,
from the top.
you get off the horse onto his leg with what you weigh in your armor, yeah, you probably snap a femur. Just like... He's barely conscious with pain.
I'm gonna grab him and lift him up to my face.
Please, please.
You wish to live.
Yes.
There is only one message you send to the city ahead of us.
Yes.
That there was no one at your place.
No one.
That none of us exist. That your master has been laundering money from the town.
Yes. It's terrible. He took it from the guild.
I'm gonna put my hand on him and give him 5 points of lay on hands.
You basically, his bones don't quite heal right, but you basically like
enough
get
for
some
him to
strength
walk.
back. It's enough for him to walk. Thank you.
Run along, little boy.
Thank you.
What was that message? What was the message again? What was that?
No one. The master's laundering money.
I will find you.
You'll find me.
We know what you look like.
Sadly missed it.
Crying.
Have you got any other friends?
No friends.
Good.
No one.
I'm so sad we missed this.
I'm gonna get back on. Pat Elga.
Can I make an insight check to see if he was lying in any way, or if he was going to?
You're almost certain.
Okay, he's
like
definitely
the fact
gonna
that this
prove-
horse, this demon horse, barreled him down, broke his arm. He broke his leg just by landing on it. And like, you know, he watched the ghost woman basically scare the shit out of two of his loyal guard friends.
Oh yeah.
He was thoroughly intimidated. You do not think that he will be telling anybody about you.
Wonderful.
If you hadn't caught up with him, you suspect that yes, he would have told everyone about it.
Sorry.
Meanwhile, what is Malice and Tolchang talking
So yeah,
about?
I'm walking along, singing little nursery rhymes to myself.
I'm
you
just
know,
walking along. I'm
twinkle,
just
twinkle.
sort of going like.
Boxing.
Just that really awkward thing when nobody knows what to say and you just go.
How old do you look?
How do I look?
Yeah, how old are you?
I mean, as a deep gnome, they mature around what?
They're like dwarves. I think they live like slightly
I think
older.
it's like 60 is their maturity age or something like that.
So you're kind of like, are you teenage, mid-20s?
No, I'm sort of,
Well, then
for a
knows
deep
what we're
gnome,
doing.
if I was like a human, I'd be about like 30, 40.
Do you look like a child?
I'm sure.
He's sure, but he doesn't have like features of a
Yeah, you
child.
don't
He
look
looks
I've
like
got
an
like a
adult.
little bit of like
A goatee.
yeah.
I'm a mature man.
I'm a manly
A
man.
manly man.
I'm a
For a
goddamn
deep
man.
gnome, he's
He'd
pretty
be like
manly.
around. He'd be like around age Trelamar age probably.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna be like, tell me, dearie, do you know any games?
Well, you ever played Liar's Dice?
Oh shit. So yeah, gnomes mature at the same rate humans do, but they live longer. They can live to 350 or almost 500
Wow.
years. But they have an adult gnome is generally 40 years old.
Yeah, so I'm about 67 years.
Yeah, but he looks like a 35-year-old-ish kind of age.
No, I mean word games.
Well,
Fun games. Games you play with children.
let's see. I spy on my little eye.
Go on.
On your route, do you play I Spy?
Hang on, we'll see.
Let the RP happen, Mark.
Okay, sure,
Let the magic happen here.
sure thing.
Do you want to go first? Or? Alright, okay. I'm going to have can I have a little perception check?
You can make a perception check.
Thank you. This is how you, so you know you did a video on XCOM?
Yeah.
This is how you make I Spy a D&D game.
Can I roll a perception check? What do I see?
You are about to ask me what you see.
12.
12. Out in the. Are you looking for anything in particular, or just
Looking for
anything
something
interesting?
difficult, like, I'm not going to say tree or rock.
Right.
Is there anything in particular that I can spot?
You spot another one, like a farmhouse out in the distance, a wheat field.
I Spy?
No, a cattle farm. Let's make it a cattle farm. You can see like some hairy cows.
I like hairy cows.
I Spy. My little eye.
Please don't do this.
Something beginning with... Is there a barn?
Yeah.
B.
What could
Let me
it
know if you need a hint.
Do you need to make like an intelligence check to
Yeah,
see if
or
you
do I
can
just-
Perception check.
Is this how we make it a D&D game? Make a check.
Perception or intelligence check.
2, 3.
Looking around.
Burke.
Burke.
Yes, I'm looking right at one.
Oh!
Very funny, but
Wah, wah, wah.
but no, there's no.
While we're playing this,
Yes.
would I spot maybe like a guard or something like that, or you know,
No, not on the roads and stuff, not
or
yet.
anyone we saw from last night?
No, you guys don't spot anybody on the way. You are far behind these two, and they ran ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
Whilst you are playing your game, the two of you, are you carrying on to the city, or now that you found the messenger, are you like slowing down and walking around?
Should we let them catch up?
You realise that he's probably been driven mad by this point.
Who?
Well,
The guard?
Tolshank, because he has to. I imagine at this moment, she's probably asking him to play a game. And this game will continue until they get here. So if you don't want him to be really angry when we meet them, we should maybe go back and catch up.
Fine, we'll go back for them.
Okay.
Ride!
Killed guard messenger, or didn't kill him, sorry.
Played I
Sent a
Spy.
message.
Threatened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we're making a name for ourselves.
So, you guys, you travel back, and after around a day, it's late evening, or sort of, coming late evening when the impressive city of Byzantor rises up before you. The first thing you notice is it is a port town, so it's built right on the edge of the coast, and it is sloped. So some of the buildings are built up onto the higher sections, and then as it goes down towards the sea, it kind of lowers down. But the main thing about it is there are two walls: an inner wall, which is still high and defensible, and then an outer wall which is high and defensible, and then an inner wall which is even higher and is very heavily patrolled. You see guards patrolling both outside the gates and along the walls include humans, people in red robes, but also gnolls and even centaurs are actually patrolling. The centaurs tend to patrol like outside the gates in big roaming packs, just like stampeding around, like surging around. But you can see these kind of furry gnoll creatures around. Now, most of you being seasoned adventurers, and we'll use the air quotes, you have encountered gnolls. They tend to be very common bandits. They're used as guards and thugs, vicious, nasty creatures spawned from demons, pretty horrible creatures. They love to torture and inflict pain, and they're generally not very nice. And they actually wear city guard uniforms along with the humans and everybody else, and the centaurs, and they're patrolling around. There is lines, or what they call coffles, which is chained together rows of slaves being led in by masters on wagons and things like that into the city. There are slaves working on the walls. All of the slaves that you can see, it's easy to tell who is a slave because the slaves are not allowed to, they have long hair all over their body. Their body hair just grows. It's never cut or shaved. They have long beards, long hair, hairy arms, hairy legs, but they are kept very neat and tidy. Their clothing is pristine, not dirty. The hair is washed. They're not filthy and squalid. They are kept clean and precise. The other people that you can clearly see around the city are a very distinct opposite. Still clean, still prim and proper, but they wear these extravagant robes with detailed designs, tunics in deep reds and burgundies and blacks. And almost all of them have either completely shaved heads, very, very close cropped hair, or things like they have no hair except for a ponytail. Like they'll have like the hair just enough to form a ponytail, or they might have like one half of their head shaved and the other half kind of combed down, very similar to Tolshank's. And many of them, especially the women who shave their heads, have tattoo patterns all over their kind of crowns of their heads as well, kind of creating these beautiful, exotic-looking designs. The town itself is incredibly busy, and at the very center is one enormous obelisk-like structure, which has like rows of highly defensible platforms and walls looking out on the rest of the city. And this is the port city of Thay, Byzantor. And that is where we're going to end the second episode of Dead Reckoning. Woo! What an eventful episode it was!
I will just say, I actually really enjoyed the games that I played. Like you expected when he rode back to.
You've been having.
I was actually like laughing and getting into it.
You guys really got along.
Having a great time.
You're having a great time. Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear it. If you enjoyed this episode, don't worry, there's more next week.
Wednesday at the same time.
But
here
where?
On twitch.tv/D&D. And if your friends missed out on this episode, you can tell them to watch it on the D&D YouTube channel or here in their Twitch channels.
Correct.
How about that? And if you'd like to see more D&D with us, we'll be on our own channel, twitch.tv/Yogscast on Sundays. Twitch.tv/Yogscast on Sundays at 5 PM BST and 9 AM PDT. Don't forget to grab yourself a copy of The Tomb of Annihilation, what this campaign is my version of a prequel for, and it's really good. You should buy it and play it. It's really good. And that is it from us. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.